Oh. Tried to stifle a yawn just as Robert decided to make it live. Oh. Hmm. Need to unpin Calf's comment. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
I
do.
did that.
Okay.
You might need a refresher to go away.
Well, boy, it's been an adventurous week since last Tuesday, that's for sure. Um, we do have our power back, finally. Um, we went dark at 8:40. Um, at 8:40 in the morning during the live stream, so we had actually worked the event for a half hour. And then after working the event for a half an hour, we, of course, went dark. Yes, a tornado. We had tornado warnings, but at this point they haven't called it a tornado. Yes, Oscar, I live. I do. Um, and Tony, hi, Tony. Trumpkin, Megalith, and Icy Knight are in Twitch, and Ben is in Twitch, and Oscar, Tony, and Lloyd are in YouTube, and GS Nerf is in YouTube. So at this point, Doc Solo question mark? Yeah, that's kind of the new thing that we're going. The So we went dark on at 8:40. Finally got it back Friday, and at Friday on. I'm trying to read comments and talk at the same time, and that doesn't work. Okay. And Friday at 4:20, we finally got the power back. So Friday at 4:20, we finally are able to start turning the lights on, disconnecting the generators, and putting things back in order. Um, so basically, the whole weekend was devoted to putting things back in order. We did a short member stream on Saturday to do some recordings so we could make a long form video for this coming week. So, um, the fist fight a tornado, cutting off your stream, going outside and wanting to fist fight the tornado. Yeah, that works. Okay, so Donald Grimm joined us, and the Emperor of Mankind is also here, albeit briefly. Okay, so Donald Grimm is going to be here briefly, it looks like. And anyway, so Doc Solo. What is Doc Solo? Doc Solo is a new start. Right now, we really, really badly want the features of 1.1 for our okay, I'll address Solar Flare here in a moment. Um, Doc Solo is going to just be a solo playthrough. I'm going to be playing basically by myself because I don't need a whole bunch of help to start the game. So I'm going to work, and Robert's online. Hi, Robert.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah. I haven't seen Garrett join us.
No.
He was having computer troubles last night. I heard. In fact, we had troubles just before the stream, of course. Um, so, no, I didn't fire them. In fact, they could log. Well, I guess they can't. Um, you guys can't log into the other one if I'm playing the Doc Solo on the server, can you? So we'll have to figure that out and work that out. So I kind of preempted things. I put Doc Solo on the server, and I probably should have left it on my personal PC for the stream, and had them just invited to join me, so that they can play either one. Plus, I want to play 1.1's experimental, which I haven't installed on the server yet, and I don't want to yet for the Gigafactory version. So we need to work out the details and do a better job communicating than I did this morning. So my bad there. So what you see, um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the forest, the northern forest. And so I kind of jumped the gun and got started a little bit. I was excited to get things going this morning. So I I went ahead and opened up a version and started kind of placing things around and started doing things. And so let's go ahead and I made a gambling shop in Minecraft. I'll go try it out, although I'm not a gambler. What's the best drop? Play it. Okay, we're talking Minecraft. Come on, this is Satisfactory today. Come on, guys. We'll get to Minecraft later in the week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the Minecraft days, aren't they, Robert? This time.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we're in our Minecraft week, so got a couple days playing Satisfactory, then we'll go back to Minecraft, and yes, we'll show off all the great builds that people have been doing. So let's go ahead and go to the Northern Forest where I've started building things. Okay, as soon as it flips over. Hey, Robert, are you having trouble flipping it over? There it is.
Took me a moment.
There it is. Okay, so this is the Northern Forest, and the one thing about the Northern Forest is it has a lot of changes in elevation, and it has good resources. It's resource rich, but at the same time, it's also a challenge to build here because you find very few places that are just flat, where you can just build things. So even though this area is flat, I can't build very tall because I've got structures that are going up and over. And and I see there's a slug up there that I could retrieve if I could just fly, but I don't have a jetpack. At the early game, you don't have a jetpack, you don't have a hover pack, you don't even have the running those running things on your legs.
Oh, the Blade Runners. Yeah.
The Blade Runners, thank you. So what I have done so far is I did find an iron mine, I did find a limestone mine, and I did find a copper mine over here. So they are already mining. You heard that the power went out, and with the power going out, of course, I've got to go up here and tell it to and put
Wait
some
for
more
3.5
stuff in there.
days.
Pardon?
You gotta wait for 3.5 days before we build the power cables.
Yeah, exactly.
That was painful. And Grim has already redeemed Butterfinger for you, so make sure you get that in front of you.
Okay. All right, so the hub is up here on the hill. And frankly, I probably should have put it down below, but I didn't think ahead. It'll be put down.
You know, the best thing about starting over, you can harvest all the biomass you want, and you don't need to use foundations.
As though I would do anything without foundations.
Right? No foundations, says Icy Knight.
Okay. So now, leaves burn up pretty quick. And right now I don't have the saw. I don't have my faithful chainsaw. We cut down wood. So I'm going to need to put a constructor up here and create some biomass, solid biomass, and that'll help also to keep this thing going longer. And frankly, I should go ahead and build a biomass burner up here. So let's see what it takes. Let's see if in power I can build a biomass burner. And I am missing copper wire, and that's fine. Down below I've got copper ingots being made, so I can go make copper wire right now if I need to, and I think I need to, so I'll do that. So there's my copper ingots. I'll just grab some copper ingots. Ashley.
On your Mark 1 miners.
Yes, on my Mark 1 conveyor belts, yes. That's crazy.
Manu Munoz asks, is this a new save file?
It is. It's a new save. I've played it now for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe 30.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put that right there. And Let's put a conveyor between that and that. And let's start constructing wire. And in order to do wire, I gotta have some more power. And frankly, I'm probably overstretching the ability of the power that I already have. So it's probably going to be a challenge. I don't want that. I want two.
And Sarah over on YouTube says, "What's up, Doc?"
Well, we're starting a new save, and this one's going to be called Doc Solo because I'm building it on my own at this point. Haven't recruited any help yet. Probably should,
Nah,
but
you're good.
okay. Now I'm going to pull another power pole over here. Mark 1 power poles. Grr. You know,
Yeah.
can only have 4 connections. One of them connects to the to get power. That means you only have 3 open, which really means you only have 2 open because you have to then chain another power pole to it so you can get more ports. So really you only have 2 available ports to run machines off of a particular power pole. So that does make things particularly challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And Ben from YouTube asked if there's a community Satisfactory server for when 1.1 releases fully. We do technically have a community Satisfactory server, though we haven't been on it in quite a while, so I'm guessing it's fairly dead. But when 1.1 comes out, we will open up again and probably find some community project to do. Last year we did a really fun set of races, and we'll see what we can do this year.
okay, so okay. A new set of storage containers. Gotta keep things running. It means you gotta have storage containers in the early game. You gotta have storage containers. And so there comes my wire. Oh, if I only had dimensional depots, right?
Yeah.
But that's not going to come for a little bit.
Oscar says, since you're starting fresh, I take it you're still in biofuel. If so, when you get foundations, let me know, because I know a great solid biofuel factory layout.
Well, solid biofuel factory layout. Okay. Who said that then?
That was from Oscar.
When do you like to start hunting hard drives? That is a very good question, because every single wreck that I find is going to have a hard drive.
Garrett won't have stolen them yet?
Yes, they won't have already been taken. Mm-hmm. Okay, we got cement coming, and this cement is kind of an end point here, isn't it? The other thing is we don't have splitters. That really is a challenge.
You're right.
Which means basically I go find another another iron mine and another smelter and here's another iron mine. I knew where one was already. These iron mines are pure iron. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Yeah, the monkey with grip is here. Says, what's cooking? Good looking.
What? Okay. I've never been called that.
Ben Ben from YouTube says, "Just call me Ben. I can't change my name on Twitch until 2 months." Well, I hope in 2 months you change your name to Ben over on Twitch. That'd be even better.
Okay.
Icy Knight says that's the whole point of spawning in the Northern Forest, the purity of your nodes.
Oh, really? Didn't realize that was one of the differences.
Yeah, from my experience, the Northern Forest is the most difficult terrain to handle, but the best when it comes to the density and the purity of the nodes. And Karakin says, "Good morning."
Uh-oh. I'm missing iron plates, which means I can't set up my iron plate constructor because I don't have iron plate. Okay, so what do I have in my bags?
You know-
Yes, I've got only
Oh my gosh.
what?
A ton of ore.
Yeah, I need to get rid of the ore.
I was about to say, I, I was just about to say, it's great. You have so few items you can't fill your inventory. And then you open your inventory.
Okay. This is iron ore. This is copper. Okay.
Okay, so Ben has redeemed Name It. So he wants to name your starter factory, this current location. Though we don't have signs yet. We're going to call it the pasta that started it all.
The pasta that started it all. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There you go. Better.
Yeah, better. It's just that looks like I've got to daisy chain another storage container or build another smelter.
Yeah.
What else can I build with
I
copper?
would say for right now, just leave it as is, because you can't use it any faster. You don't have any splitter. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Epic Louder says, "What's up, Doc?" Sorry, I bet you get that like 100 times a day.
I do.
Yes, but he likes it, and he's been complaining that I haven't built a little animated Bugs Bunny popping up so he can hit the button for
Exactly.
it. One of the other reasons why I talk doing this solo is so I have more editing time. So hopefully, as I get kind of caught up, I'll be able to do fun stuff like that.
Yes, more fun stuff like that. So, epic louder. Okay. Oh, he wants me to redeem hydrate too, and I don't have my monster in front of me.
I'll get you one.
Okie dokie. And one of my biofuel things is out of fuel. All right. I have more iron plates. And I have an orange monster today. They call this Ultra Sunrise, which basically is an orange drink. Basically, automated leaves, woods, mycelia in 2 biomass stores. It then automates it into solid biomass stores and feeds 2 biomass burners as needed. Good. All right.
And Galactic Grim also wants a wabbit season, duck season.
I agree with that. Okay, what was I was going to make iron plate here. I think I was going to make iron plate here, wasn't I? Yeah, I'm making copper there. And so...
Redstone Ninja says, humble beginnings.
Oh man, are they ever. Sometimes you have to start over just to realize where you came from, you know?
Yeah.
And all of my power is down at the moment. So I need to run up here. Next thing I'm going to do is make some biomass burners down below. And start constructing solid biomass to go into those biomass burners. And then when I collect, I can just throw, you know, I can collect a bunch. And then just throw it into a container and make good biomass out of it.
Delta Grim says, I am quite happy with ultra soft toilet paper and hot showers. I have no desire to rough it at all.
No kidding. Yeah. Well, the one thing we did learn is that we have a well on the property, so water water ends up being a problem, you know, when the power goes out. So one thing we learned is that one of the first things we needed to do is to get the well started. The next thing was we do have natural gas here for our water heater, so the water heater kept running. So once we had water, we had hot showers. We just had these little lanterns to try to do it, you know, have some light so that we could do it. So from that aspect, it wasn't all that bad, except that I wish we could have got the hot showers running earlier. Was the big thing that Mama Doc had heard.
Well, and the nice thing is, yeah, you have a gas water heater, so you guys had hot showers as soon as you got the water back on, right?
Yes.
Whereas we didn't, because we have an electric water heater. We didn't get hot showers. In fact, our bathroom has no windows in it, so there's no light. So I got one shower that was very cold, very short, during that time in the pitch dark. So I had one little lantern lighting up the whole room.
Yeah.
No fun.
Yeah. Cold showers, not cool. Not neat.
Nope.
Not nice. Not good. How do you keep saying not?
Not.
Yeah, just definitely not. Especially when it's an unplanned camping trip, you know.
You haven't accepted it for yourself. It just thrown at you.
Exactly. Okay. Well,
Ben says biomass in the crafting bench, then it doesn't get used up as quickly.
yeah. Into solid biomass.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's over here. So I can take what little biomass I have. Go. Interesting. What do you call solid biomass?
It's biofuel, I think. I don't think you have. You can make biomass. You can't make solid biofuel yet, I don't think.
Okay.
But you could scroll down to the bottom there and do the biomass.
But I could what?
You could do the biomass at least, and that'll make it burn a lot longer. Oh yeah, Ben says you need to make a saw to unlock it. The chainsaw? Yeah, okay, I think that says, yeah, the chainsaw. That's right.
Okay, so so the solid biomass, that's right.
Yeah.
And I forgot about the biomass step, because you turn the biomass into solid biomass, and then it gets even more dense, and you can burn that even longer. And then you can burn coal for that. Can't you burn coal in a biomass burner?
Yeah, I think so. Doc, I have some really disappointing news.
Yes?
We have to record our shorts.
We have to what?
We have to re-record the shorts so we can get the audio on.
Well, they were full, since all they were is audio, how did we not get audio?
What? We had audio and video. Yeah, it got messed up. We didn't get the audio at all.
We had audio and video, but we didn't get the audio. I don't understand.
We recorded it, but we didn't get any audio with it. That's all. So, we have a video that's mute. So. And I see that confirms that you can't put coal in a biomass burner. Okay. That's fine. Once you get coal, you don't want to put in the biomass burner anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
And Venky, YouTube Gaming, asks, are you playing for the beginning?
Yes. We are, and I'm being teased by this slug that's up here that I can't get to unless I climb all the way up here and risk falling off.
Empty Minded says, just wanted to drop a line to let you know how much I appreciate your many YouTube tips, shorts, and videos. They really helped in my early and mid-game Satisfactory journey.
Cool. Well, hopefully this live stream will help a little bit too. And I want to set up some biomass burners, get things going. Okay, why did it stop? Not enough space in my inventory. Oh, come on.
Oh, all that. Just toss them on the ground. They make biomass, you can pick it right up again, because it's more compact. And it's Wabbit season is here. Says, hello, doctor. Doctor.
Hello, hello.
And Oscar says, see, if you had bought that land from that one farmer and let me set up a little village on it for your fans, you could have had hand power sooner by making us walk on a wheel of pain generator. Well, that's a little different game.
A wheel of pain, huh? You call it?
Yeah. In Conan Exiles, another survival crafting-ish type game, they have a wheel of pain, and you can capture people, and you're basically just yoking them to a generator, and then you just have to walk in circles all day long.
Okay, they walk in circles all day. Wow.
But
That sounds pretty awful.
it was a real life thing that has been done over time. Prisoners would be yoked to that kind of thing all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, by the way, it fills up your inventory because it goes 10 to 5, so it reduces by half, but the stacks are 200, where the leaf stacks are 500.
Oh, so it does take up more space.
Yeah, it does. Oh. Now we can go use biomass. I'll go ahead and throw those through. Can't wait till I have platforms.
I missed a comment a little bit earlier, but Goblegrim says, Robert, if you're ever in the panhandle of Florida, I'll take you to my sauna where you can do a cold plunge, then sit in the hot sauna. That sounds great. Sounds really relaxing. That's fine. Hey Doc, how about you just continue to stream?
Huh?
I'll borrow the car for a couple days, okay?
Or the car to go to Florida?
Yeah.
No. No, I think not.
Shucks. Happy to see a good number of people here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you guys know, once a month we uh, we have a showcase, which is going to be happening today at the end of the stream, where we take a bunch of pictures people have posted on our private Discord, and we show them the doc and let him react to it. It includes cool builds in Satisfactory, as well as with Minecraft now, and as well as pictures of people's cats and pets and food they've made, stuff like that. So that'll be happening at the end of the stream today. It's always a lot of fun to see what people have made, and yeah. So if you guys would like to join our Discord and come hang out and share what you guys have built, and of course we're looking for in progress builds and your worst spaghetti as well as your magnificent beautiful builds. So whatever you do, it'd be cool to have you there.
Okay.
Archon says, Dad still doesn't trust you with a car, huh?
To go from here to Florida? No. We need the transportation here, folks.
And unfortunately, my car's dead.
Yeah, that's one of the first things Garrett's going to work on getting repaired. Question is it still worth repairing?
Oh, I don't know.
Motor's still good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tuck the biomass burners up here in the corner.
Ah, Picowarps is here. Good to see ya.
All right. Let's see. For power, let's see. What does it take to build a... I'm still missing wire. Okay. I need to go pick up some wire. So, I wonder... Do I have enough to build the space elevator yet? I need 500 cement. I need 400 rods. I haven't built the second thing to get the rods yet. And I need 15... excuse me. 1,500? Okay. They want me to build a space elevator, and I need a whole lot more product. Okay. Fine. That got me sidetracked. Let's get some power going here. Biomass burner. Okay, I can build a biomass burner now. And I can put stuff into it from that side. I do it there and there. And I'm gonna run out of stuff before I can make more than 2 at the moment.
Picowarps. So is this a solo project world of just Doc?
It is, at this point, a solo project. It will be 1.1. Am I speed running? Trying to, yes. I'm just remembering all the component parts from the early game, and people are reminding me about the early parts, which is nice. So, Solar Flare posted some pictures in the Discord. Good. We'll see some of his stuff. It'll be good.
Okay, so I built the showcase, so hopefully your stuff is there, but that's already been done. So if you just now did it, yeah, unfortunately those will be caught next time, okay? But I think it was something you posted did get put in already. And we got at least a couple new people who clicked the link, so thank you for joining. Good to have you on the Discord. Trump could ask, what do you need for the space elevator? It's been too long.
Uh, Stuff that's easy in the end game, and all of a sudden it's a monumental task in the early game.
Yeah.
I mean, 1,500 copper wire in the early game is a little bit hard to come by. So I wanted to build a constructor, for example, didn't have enough stuff.
Those depots. You're going to want to go exploring very early on so you can get the depots get going.
Definitely. And see, I'm missing iron plate already. You know?
And of course,
Okay.
your inventory size is tiny as well. Oh, the joys of early game.
You know, luckily I do have a machine making iron plate. If you can call that making iron plate. That's right. Overclocking is also not unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
Reinforced iron plate. And you laugh at me. You pathetic person would laugh at me.
I laugh at. And we're back to reinforced iron blades.
I'm going to have a butterfinger for that. Gosh.
And Saida Al-Hura asks, started a new game, Doc?
Yes. I decided to start a new game in a new place. And give Robert some chance to edit. Hopefully he's actually taking advantage of it. He must be enjoying, he's probably enjoying reading the chat more than he's actually working.
A little bit of both. I'm a little put off by the fact that we have to re-record the shorts.
Me too.
Probably just didn't check the audio sources. Make sure it's on the right one. As usual, it got changed. Discord should never ever, OBS should never ever change your sources no matter how many times you plug and unplug stuff. Changed nothing.
To do reinforced iron plate, that means I've got to do screws.
Uh-huh. I see it says gross screws.
And the fact that everything basically at this level is a 1-to-1. In other words, you can't split your production from the mine into two constructors to make two different things, or from a smelter into two different things to make two different items. Like iron right now, I need plate and I need rods. And now I need screws. So now I really have to find 3 mines in order to do that.
Yeah.
So
we have some very sad cats that are scratching at the door trying to get in.
yeah, They abused their owner this morning, so they got kicked out early. Early in the day, they decided to have a fight over the back of my chair.
And we got it on video.
Yeah, um, fight on the back of my chair, and um, then they decided they were going to chase each other around the studio and make all kinds of noise and knock things over. So that was it. We kicked them out. Should have started in the Dune Desert, the Rocky Desert. I That's where we started. Isn't that where?
Well, there's the Rocky Desert and the Dune Desert. The Dune Desert is where the Gigafactory is, or
Okay,
north of the Gigafactory
right.
with the Iron Dome.
And I haven't ever started there, have I? We
No.
started in the Rocky Desert once.
Yep, in the current safe.
Okay.
I think Dune Desert is kind of like the last frontier.
Yeah, it is.
Nice, and I says, please don't start in the Dune Desert. It's awful.
I did start one in the Dune Desert that I've never shown.
That's right, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just wanting to play one day, so I just started there. And yeah, it was interesting. I found water. Of course, there's lots of resources there.
Mm.
And so, anyway, I'm gonna fill these biofuel things here with.
One thing I said that I share with you, Doc, is I like playing pretty games. And so for me, if I'm choosing between Northern Forest and the Dune Desert, I'm going to go with the Northern Forest any day.
Uh huh.
I consider Northern Forest, I mean, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle region, where everywhere was forest, everywhere were mountains. Uh, Absolutely gorgeous, and I loved it. And living there was great. You know, did a whole lot of camping and stuff. And so anytime there's a game with this sort of environment, I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
Solar Flare says the audio's been delayed on YouTube. Can somebody confirm, is there an audio delay for anybody else on YouTube or on Twitch? Okay, great. It's the same game sounds better. Yeah.
Oh, capacity is 40 megawatts. 40?
40.
Okay.
Well, cat got in.
Everybody heard that? I'm sure everybody heard that. Yeah, so Mittens is in. Would they knock over the board or something?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so our capacity is now up to 100 megawatts. Now that they're up and running, the two biomass burners are up and running here. But at this point, they're manually fed because I don't have this up and running yet. So let me go ahead and connect these two at least, and put a storage container over here. Missing iron rods.
Interesting. They say just the game audio is delayed, not the not you.
Interesting. Voice is not delayed, but game audio is delayed. I don't know how to solve that one.
And Archon, yes, I did grow up in the green part of Washington, the western half of Washington.
Oh, not the high desert? Yeah, because Washington is split between a high desert on the east and the lush green rainforest sort of outlook on the west.
Yep.
Um, very, very different environments split by a mountain range called the Cascade Mountains
Oh, they were gorgeous.
that are that reside between. Wenatchee is in the eastern side of the mountains as you descend out of the mountains and stay in the high desert. And then Seattle, of course, is in the western side. That's more in the lush green side. So, and we grew up in Bremerton, which is even farther west, on what they call the Olympic Peninsula, which is another mountain range. And the Olympic Peninsula has a lush green rainforest
Yep.
on it, which is incredible if you ever get a chance to visit there. So. Okay, now I can build my storage container. And
Well,
turn it
Icy
around.
Knight's heading out, so we'll see you later.
All right, thanks for coming, Icy Knight.
Yeah, and Ben, yeah, we've talked about that before, Ben. Ben lives in the Alps, so mountain is normal.
Mountain is normal. And
Yeah.
frankly, they talk about the Ozark Mountain Range. And, you know, after having lived in Seattle, where a mountain is something that has snow on it year round,
Mm-hmm.
I go to the Ozark Mountain Range and I just say, okay, you mean those hills over there?
Yep.
Because that's not a mountain.
I actually really struggled because I lived in, in the Seattle area for the first 18 years of my life, and then we moved to Missouri. And when you're living near mountains your entire life, you have an automatic, you know what direction everything is at all times. You can always see mountains.
Yeah.
I out my bedroom window was a mountain every single day. I wake up in the morning and I see a mountain first thing every day. Well, I didn't because we lived in Seattle. It was rainy most days. But when it wasn't raining, you could see mountains. And you always knew where the mountain range was, and you always knew where the ocean was. We move out to Missouri, and it's just flat forever. You can't see, like, you don't know where you are. You can go 100 feet west, and somebody could spin you around, and at high noon, you have no idea where you are.
At high noon, you have no idea. Exactly.
And Archon says, I grew up in the desert area, county of farms and factories.
Mm-hmm.
And wait, is that why I like Satisfactory?
All right. Leaf. Gonna go in here.
And so Soloflare asked about the schedule this week. We are streaming at 9 a.m. Central U.S. time, which is, we are 1 hour into the stream, and we'll be streaming at this time Monday through Thursday. Okay, so same day, same time every day. And today and tomorrow will be Satisfactory. And then Wednesday and Thursday will be Minecraft. And for the members out there, that'll be an afternoon stream on Friday. It will also be Minecraft.
Okay.
Picowarp says the I-5 corridor was great as a new driver. No matter where I went, I knew I just needed to put the ocean on my left and I was heading home.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot hard to get lost. What you don't know is whether it's going to take you a half an hour to get home or 3 hours to get home, depending on the time of day. And Alexa says, "Hiya, Doc."
Hi. Good to have you.
And Trumpkin says Western New York is a very lush and green, deciduous and conifer forest with a mix of plains and rolling hills. Most of the region I'm in are farms and vineyards with concentrated pop-in towns and cities. Yeah, the whole New England area. I've never been anywhere on the East Coast except for going. Where did we go? Um, to see your brother that one day. Where does he live?
Oh, it was
In the
in,
Carolinas.
yeah, it, gosh, Simpsonville, South Carolina?
Yeah, and we went there for a day. Didn't even see the ocean, but
Because you're not even close to the ocean there still.
yeah, but we did get to drive over there. That's as far east as I've ever gone. Haven't been to Florida. Now I have been to the coast of Texas, and that was fun.
No empty power connections. No empty power connections. I'm already getting tired of.
And B Griff over on YouTube says starting a new save.
Yes, yes, yes. That's why I'm building not on platforms, because I haven't even unlocked platforms yet.
That's so funny.
Robert thinks it's funny. It's starting to get a little frustrating for me. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's Wabbit Season says, RIP traffic on any interstate within 30 miles of Seattle.
No kidding. Yes, one of the reasons why I wanted to leave the Puget Sound and why I transferred from within bowling to the St. Louis area, because frankly, I just didn't want to keep dealing with taking 3 hours to get home from work,
Oh.
and that was literal. Every day, it'd take me 45 minutes to get to work in the morning when there was no traffic. But going home, once I hit Seattle, it just rang to went to a crawl. And so I was so glad that when I finally got to work in Everett, 'cause I lived in Marysville, if you know where that is.
One of 26 Marysvilles in the United States, so don't get confused with any other Maryville or Marysville here in the U.S.
Yeah, and then we moved to St. Louis, and there was a Maryville. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, we just I had to drive when I finally got transferred clear up to Everett. It reduced the commute down to about a half hour in the morning and about 45 minutes at night, which was sweet compared to what we had to do before that.
Okay. We did get a Megalith resubscribed on Twitch.
Thank you, Megalith.
Okay, I'm gonna kill OBS and bring it right back, so there's gonna be a little bit of hitch. But we have a number of people who are talking about the audio issue, so we're gonna try restarting it. Things might disconnect, but we're gonna come back quick enough that it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we should be back.
Okay.
Everybody tell us when you see us again.
Well, this is staying full of biomass.
Okay, solo player sees us back.
Good.
The great artist says, "Welcome back, Doc. Glad to see you have power again."
We're so glad to have power. That was not a fun impromptu camping trip.
No, it was not at all. Rabbit season. Tell me more, because we were really struggling. We were late this morning because we were really struggling this morning to get online.
And it seemed to be more of an indication of an issue of, maybe a regional thing going on with internet. I don't know.
Oh, okay, that's Amazon launching some satellites. Okay, that's not a hacking issue. Yeah, what we were seeing is like Garrett could not authenticate Minecraft. Suddenly, the Blizzard launcher on my computer said it could not authenticate. Twitch wasn't working. Okay,
Uh-huh.
but
And
YouTube was fine.
and my Epic launcher wasn't working.
Yeah, just really
And
weird.
and when it finally came back, it asked me to revalidate. So it was kind of funky.
Yeah,
It was a funky monkey.
interesting. Great artist and somebody from Holland that they watch also crashed suddenly earlier. Okay.
Doc, my today's purchase makes me safe in the hood. Safe in the hood. Yes. Okay. I don't understand what he's saying.
I think the monkey got himself personal protection implement.
Okay.
And Great Artist says, I hope this doesn't discourage you from participating in the next Pass It Off event.
No. I mean, the event was going really, really good. Yeah, Jake says, ding, 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 ding. Yeah. It's that time again where we gotta just keep crafting at the crafting bench. Gonna take a few screws, and then it's gonna take some. We've got plenty of plates there, so I need to make rods, and I need to make plate, and I need to make screws. And the screws come from the rods. A lot of gazintas already.
You don't have an assembler yet, do you?
I do not have an
So the reinforced actually has to be done manually.
It looks like it, yeah.
Redstone? No. No, absolutely not. New dock challenge. Handcraft the whole game.
That would be too bizarre.
I tell you what, if you got everything totally ready and like you had the full tech, it would probably still take you like 8 hours to handcraft one end game item.
Yeah, if you could. I mean, you can't
that's
you
right.
can't craft manufacturer items at a crafting bench. So I am going to make 55 reinforced iron plates, I guess. I need to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Okie doke. Well, we are very glad that you come home. It was kind of strange though because it was just a weird situation because we have generators. We can have a certain amount of power, which meant that Doc and Mama Doc were in their living room watching TV on their big screen TV, but we couldn't use the microwave. Just this weird dichotomy of I'm in a very dark room, but my computer's on and I'm playing Minecraft. All that kind of just weird. I couldn't edit any videos because I didn't have enough monitor space for it. But Redstone Ninja, there's a YouTuber that tried to handcraft the whole game. Took over 100 hours just to get up to phase 3. Oh my gosh. That's insane. Yeah, no thank you. Well, you know what? I'm glad that Project Kuiper, it's Kuiper, isn't it? Because it's named after the star system or whatever. Has started. As much as I appreciate us having Starlink, and I think it's a pretty good system, with its downsides, of course, having competition is good. Great Otter says, I think I watched that YouTuber's videos. I don't think he's released another video recently because it's just too far from finishing. Yeah. Yeah, we kind of had a lot of things that made us pull back from doing the Gigafactory. One is Doc just wants to play on his own for a bit. Another is we spent about 45 minutes trying to get me, Garrett, and Doc all into the Gigafactory world because the save file is so large and it's so difficult to even get the thing loaded now that it's becoming a real strain, and we're all playing it, with we all have a 4070 GPUs, and we're all playing at 15 frames per second. So we're really hoping that 1.1 does have some good optimizations, like people have said. A little bit ago, Wabbit Season was talking about travel time to work. And he says, I think that's a big factor in many folks not wanting to be in office. You're not only getting clock time for your workday when commuting, it's all lost time. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I've been fairly lucky because my worst job was like a half an hour away, and I had that for more like 20 minutes away. And I had that only for a couple of years. I've never really had to do the long commute to work. It would drive me absolutely nuts. And great artist says, have you considered buying a dedicated server? The dedicated server I use gave me better frames to my computer. So we did custom build a PC for it, and that made a huge difference for all of us. So previously, Doc would host it, and we would all come in multiplayer. And so for Doc, things are a little bit worse because hosting it natively on this computer was better than that. But by putting it on a separate computer, it was much better for us. But even then, it was taking forever to get in. We'd crash all the time. So, and when he crashed, it was another 20 minutes to get back in, which was no fun. We were able to get through. We did kind of like a little capstone little piece for the Pass It On event that we recorded with members on Saturday. Yeah, off schedule stream, and even that took forever. And we all stayed away from the Gig Factory, but it's at the point where we just can't use it anymore. So. Whitestone, that sounds terrible. Whitestone says, I like the no deletion challenge. Once placed, even accidentally, it is set in stone. Well, the only way I'd ever do that is if you allow major amounts of clipping. Because you make a single mistake and it's just over, right? Oof. Sounds like a how long can I last with no deletions? Or the no foundation gentleman. Now that's one Doc would do. That actually sounds kind of funny. I mean, it'd be an absolute mess, and I don't think I'd ever do it anywhere except for like in the down south of the big old green fields. Has some good space. Maybe out in the desert. Ben says if you have one miner and accidentally place a conveyor on it wrongly, you gotta make a U-turn unnecessary, and it would be ugly. Yes, it would be very ugly. You'd have to allow clipping. As much as I don't like it, I don't see a way around it. Megalith asks, are there any Finnish people here? Good question. Redstone says that once you place a challenge is basically my starting area. I never upgraded the starting area once I got to phase 3 because that's too much effort when it's all impure. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Until it comes down to like you're like in phase 5 or something, and it's so low by comparison to whatever you're doing, it's like rip it all out and redo it, right?
Alrighty, I am back.
Okay, Vologram. Okay, also had some weird internet issues this morning, so some weird stuff going on. Yes, there's definitely some weird stuff going on with the internet. And Volocrum waves high.
Okay. Can you put the stream up on the screen, Robert?
Oh, yeah, I gotta read that for you.
Okay, there it is.
Got a welcome back from Jimbo Wimble. From
Cool.
the Jimbo Wimble.
The Jimbo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to put a constructor next to that constructor. Conveyor from there to there. Yeah, let's put a storage container that I can't make because I don't have enough iron plate, but I've got my iron plate being made over here, so I'll go run over here and get some.
Yeah, Epic Louder, that's kind of the way I work, and I think Doc works as well. I suck at planning things, so I end up ripping things up at least 3 to 5 times before it halfway works or looks good.
Mm-hmm.
See, what you do is instead of casting it as a negative thing, we give it a term, we call it agile, and then now it's a positive thing. See, I work in an agile fashion.
Robert, don't even. That is so bad. I hate it when people do that. Oh. I mean, there's so many software development places that that literally they justify their lack of planning, saying, "Oh, I'm just being agile." Okay, no, you're not. Agile is a planned thing. Anyway, so much for Robert niggling me because he knows what gets me.
I know how to get Doc's goat.
One thing about biomass is it keeps growing back.
Cold Bark's first time chat.
Cool.
Says, you are my YouTube short hero. First time seeing you on Twitch.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, I need a constructor up here. First time seeing me on Twitch. That's cool. Let's see. Now let's go ahead and have this one turned this direction.
Archon says, Robert, your dad is already frustrated. Keep antagonizing him and you're going to end up grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be serious.
Epic Louder says, I like that. It's a positive reframe. See, Doc, I'm incorporating multiple lessons from you. We're learning how to reframe issues, right?
Mm-hmm. Remember that one class that I taught? It was all about reframing?
Yep.
Yep.
And one of the stories they told, a family with a child who was being disobedient at school. And they just reframed it. Your child isn't disobedient. They're just strong-willed.
Just strong-willed. That's what you call it, huh?
Uh-huh. Well, that's what the story said. But no, the story had a lot more context. But yes, Volocram, by the way, Doc is playing a solo world today. So, and Alexa hasn't unlocked. He hasn't unlocked Foundation, so can't build any. Not yet.
Not yet. Can't build any foundations yet. But I will keep after it until I can.
Volocram asks, is Doc that done with you and Garrett?
No, let me tell you why this came about. And really why this came about was being a little bit frustrated with the ability to progress in the Gigafactory, and knowing that a lot of the 1.1 upgrades are going to help the Gigafactory to be productive again. And so we just kept fighting against that idea. Well, we don't want to really build out the hypertube hub because we're going to have new features with the hypertubes that are going to make it easier. We've got the elevators coming in, which will make not building as many hypertubes. So the transport around the Gigafactory is going to be a whole lot easier. The mergers, the splitters, the vertical aspect of the mergers and the splitters and the priority mergers, and all of those new features are going to help the Gigafactory in a huge way. And it just got to the point where, why, I want these features to be in full production with all the bugs fixed, and then we can go play on the Gigafactory some more. But in the meantime, I wanted to start over and explore a new area that I really, frankly, haven't done much exploration in here in the Northern Forest. So I wanted to start over and uh, and also give Robert more time to edit videos and get some more shorts out there, and because we've been kind of tardy on getting our shorts out there, really we have. So um, we just haven't done a good job in keeping the shorts up like I'd like to. So um, and all of those things together kind of made it such that we felt the need to do a better job.
And Bytor just subscribed with Prime.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
I need more iron rod. I'm trying to build my iron rod factory, and I need iron rods to build iron rod factories.
And Volocrum says that all those reasons, all that you said sounds very reasonable.
Thank you. Epic Louder asks, do we have any word on 1.1? The latest community guy, what do they call him? Community manager um, video that came out. He basically said he had no news on exactly when, um, which I find pretty sad. You'd like to hear at least that there's a schedule coming out, but at this point, there's not a schedule coming out. So we just wait. From what I understand of other people who have been talking about it, that they're having trouble squishing a few of the bugs.
So Redstone Ninja has a great question and says, "What's the point of priority mergers, though? I don't see how they could be implemented efficiently."
Ooh, ooh, ooh! Priority mergers. Wait for a short that we have coming out for you.
That we need to re-record.
That we need to. Anyway, um, we'll blame the editor for that one. The bottom line, priority mergers allows you to keep certain machines active that if they don't stay active, it backs up into other machines that need to stay active for other reasons. In other words, a priority merger allows you to choose which line to merge versus another line to merge that's less important to keep moving. So it just allows you to have more control over what you merge together, which helps in a lot of respects. So while I can't, because we've never used it before, I remember seeing, gosh, I wish we had a priority merger in this situation or in that situation or in another situation. So we put it on our wish list, and it was in one of our videos, but we never actually saw it happen until it was finally on the list of things they were actually going to do. So that was cool.
So the example that I have in my mind came first when we did an aluminum plant, and the aluminum is the first time when they have a complex system where it has to be balanced perfectly, otherwise it eventually shuts down because of the way this. Oh gosh, let me look it up real quick so I have the right words for it.
I'm going to go ahead and Black's Blue Bloodroot, Brack's Bloodroot. Boy, say that quick 3 times in a row. He says, I'm not sure why, but I enjoy building power plants a lot in the game. So a fresh start is a new opportunity to refine the power plant build from the previous iteration of play and improve some of the design ideas from the previous run. Absolutely. Power plants were a real challenge the first run I went through. The second run was a bit better, um, but we could definitely improve how we did the power plants. I know our later power plants that were finally built on not on rocket fuel, but on not just one up from regular fuel, turbo fuel. Yeah, um, they were sweet. We were able to build a whole platform. We built 5 duplicate platforms because we had a model that really worked well. So yes, a chance to refine all those things and a chance to try again to do a decent job um, doing the nuclear power plant. I want another whack at doing a nuclear power plant. We built it in a place that didn't have enough water, and that water was just a killing. It just killed us. Um, there are only like 5 total uranium nodes in the entire game, two normal and 3 impure. Um, so I want a chance to redo nuclear. So Brax Bloodroot, comment taken. That is really good comment there too. It says first time chat from Skr- wow Skullbeer. That's a lot of consonants that I can't pronounce together very well. I was self-teaching myself Microsoft Access at work, and guess who I saw in my internet travels? Yes, there's a whole station, a whole channel that's designed around Microsoft Access. It's called Ferros Technology, and yes, it goes all the way through. It actually takes it lesson by lesson through the um, oh gosh, which one?
2019 Access Bible.
2019 Microsoft Access Bible. Who is the publisher of that? Wiley, by Wiley. So if you're going to get the Microsoft Access Bible by Wiley for 2019, um, the the string there is all based on that. And in fact, I'm starting to teach. I think it's next Monday. I start to teach another class on that because I teach one class every summer on Microsoft Access, and I use that channel to teach it. So yes, and then of course you can search, and there's a lot of different Microsoft Access stuff that we did in other databases that we built for various companies and so forth on there. So it's really cool. Yeah. Okay, so where was I here?
Including our bookstore. There's a number of videos there. In fact, our most popular videos are innovations that we designed for our bookstore.
Exactly. So
And Chenker, one of our oldest members, has just re-upped his membership on YouTube. Hello, hello. Good to see you again.
yes, good to see you again. Thank you so much for being here so long.
7 months.
That is quite a hike. That is quite good. Okay.
And Brax just cheered 500 bits. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Jake's asked a YouTube question.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Hey Doc, do you have any advice? I'm looking to start Satisfactory YouTube channel. I have more than 1,000 hours in gaming and can really do creative builds. Also really familiar with YouTube backend because I'm an editor for a big-ish FPS YouTuber at the moment. Any advice would be very welcome."
Okay. Where am I seeing that comment?
It's on YouTube. It's up about 8 or so comments from Jake's.
Oh, there we go. Looking to start a Satisfactory YouTube channel. Um, the the big YouTubers, which I consider myself kind of a medium-sized YouTuber for Satisfactory, um, they've kind of specialized in certain areas if you watch them. And what you really need to do is try to figure out what you do best and specialize there and teach about it. Um, at least my channel has been successful because I teach about it, the shorts and so forth. Um, and then we've developed a community with Discord and so forth. So I think all of that that helps. So, what would I advise? Do what you do best, and just keep on pumping out the videos on what you do best. It's a slow burn, especially right now because there's not a whole lot of new people joining YouTube right now. So, I mean, it grew really fast and really big during September of last year when the new 1.0 came out, where everybody's kind of holding on to their breath and waiting for 1.1 to come out, which of course I'm doing too. So, do what you do best and post that. By the way, Gobin, I, Gobier, he says he saw the MS Access. You saw me prior to mustache and prior to a little bit more gray hair that I have now. So, yeah, those old videos, I look at them and say, I was young back then. Gosh. Okay.
Well, my computer just blue screened.
Oh, dear.
I haven't had one of those in a while.
That was your personal one, right?
Luckily. This is why the stream PC is separate from my PC. This is why I don't edit videos during stream.
When you're, yeah, when you're having to use your computer anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I need to focus here, folks. I need to focus.
Well, Volocrum says the big YouTubers, Doc. I believe according to subscriber count, you are the biggest Satisfactory YouTuber.
Really?
By subscriber count, I think he's correct. I think there's some larger channels that dabble in Satisfactory. There are definitely some larger channels that put out every once in a while, but like dedicated Satisfactory channels. I think we're the biggest by subscriber count.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
There's definitely several that get a lot more views than we do. But yeah, we're pretty high up there. And Volocrum says, "Can you post a video that's just an agile meeting with Robert and Garrett about an agile meeting? Give a little summary beforehand of how they're supposed to work, and afterwards a summary on how you steer the meeting. It may be a big ask, but it would be very interesting."
Okay, not quite. Okay. That would be an interesting one. Definitely.
Yeah. And we could, once we get back to the Gigafactory, we could entirely make it a planning meeting for the Gigafactory kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Because, you know, there's a lot of methods. Agile is a methodology, and Scrum would be a method employing the Agile methodology. Okay. We don't actually have a method to our um, to our process. It still is pretty ad hoc at this point.
Yeah. With just 3 people.
Yeah. Don't need much of a formalized process when you've got only 3 people.
Although it could be rather entertaining, satirical sort of video trying to emulate a big corporate meeting in Satisfactory. That could be fun.
Yeah. That would that would be kind of fun. Yes.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to add that to our video ideas list and just kind of let it sit and see if we come up with anything.
Okay. So did Garrett not join us because we decided we were going to do...
Because you're playing solo.
Okay.
Yep. He'll be here.
I miss him.
I'm sorry, I'm not Garrett.
Well, I'd miss you if you weren't here too.
Okay, sure. Redstone says, "Ooh, Scrum method. I learned about that senior year of college."
Yeah. And the problem with all those methods is that once it has a name, you have a whole bunch of people that want to call themselves agile. They use, oh, we're just going to have a stand-up meeting.
And that stand-up meeting is seated down in a boardroom with treats and coffee and
And it lasts an hour.
And it lasts an hour.
Stand-up meeting is a stand-up meeting because people can only stand for a certain amount of time. The whole idea of the stand-up meeting was to restrict the amount of time spent in that meeting. It's a quick report out as to what you're doing, what you've encountered, what help you need, and you're done. Move on. Go get some real work done. Because frankly, when you talk about value-added, non-value-added work, a Scrum meeting is not value-added. They're necessary. There's a difference between necessary and value-added. But frankly, if you're going to have a value-added meeting, don't have the meeting. You know, what can be done by email should be done by email.
Andrestia says, "Thanks for the reminder. Work starts again tomorrow. I had 2 weeks off."
Oh, isn't that awful?
Says, "Gonna skip the dev team stand-up, though. It's too early." And Hank's son says, "Hi, Doc. I really enjoy your calm, funny videos." Is this a new adventure?
This is a new adventure. Notice that I'm collecting biomass because I have now to feed biomass burners because I started the new thing. And of course, look at the slow conveyors. Aren't they incredible? I mean, how slow can they go? That's crazy how slow they go.
And Hank's son is from Germany.
Oh, cool.
And that's where we are. So we're in the United States.
Middle of the United States, in a state called Missouri, which is literally the middle of the United States. You know, if you go up from the Gulf of America, okay, Gulf of America, and down from Canada, it's about equal distance between the two, and East Coast to West Coast, it's about equal distance inside from east to west. So, right in the middle. Okay, let's go make my iron rod. Iron rod plant over here. Now that we've got a power pole here, we just have to tell it we're going to make iron rods here. And we gotta put a conveyor belt here to there. And start getting ingots to flow. And then we've got iron rods that need to come out here into a storage container.
Whitestone says, one thing I do not miss is the Mark I belts. You know, there's a different relationship with the items that you have at the early game, where with those Mark I belts, you see in detail every single item that comes, and every single item matters. Later game, like, they're just zipping by so fast, it's just, I don't care about them unless there's 1,000.
Pretty soon I'll get it to match here. Yeah, there we go, we're almost there.
Are you holding control? Is that helping at all?
No. Should it help?
It should help snap it, but... Well, you're nudging, so...
Yeah, I'm trying to nudge it into... I'm waiting for the... There it is. That's what I was looking for. What? Okay. Let's try this again.
Wyson says, right, but when I can hand feed a machine fasten a belt, they are so sluggish. Yeah. Volcrum says that the suits people thought of stand-up meetings as a way to save money on chairs.
Yeah, those wonderful MBAs that you love to hate. And there come the rods. Now I've got rods being produced.
Redstone Ninja says, early game, Mom, look, I'm making a factory. Late game, ugh, the modular frame factory's down. Which conveyor's acting up?
Yep. Which one's acting up?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to refund the Butterfinger one, because Doc already had one this stream, but Megalith did redeem Hydrate and Stretch. So, make sure you take a moment
To drink more. Alright. Let's stretch while I'm mining. Okay, well that didn't last long. Okay, let's, I can't put another miner there unless I go make another mini miner. So let's run over there and make a mini miner.
Volcrum says, late game. Oh, I need 500 power shards for this factory. I guess I'll need to make a factory for that, which I need to make another factory, for which I need to make another factory, for which I need to automate that one thing I forgot to automate in phase 3, for which I...
You got it.
Yep.
Okay, now, I don't need a craft, I need the equipment. The equipment one for this one. Okay, equipment workshop for this one. Okay, let's see. Other objects. There we go. Come forward, come forward. All right, I can make 43 of these thingies. just go replenish my rods and plates and don't have to worry about miners. Now, remember prior to 1.1, 1.0, I mean, prior to 1.0, the mini miners wouldn't stack. So you had one mini miner taking up a slot. So you couldn't get multiple of them and go anywhere and put down a bunch of miners because at the early game you didn't have enough room in your bags. Yeah, it's terrible. So we'll have plenty of mini miners to go for a good long time. You can press tab. When mining, you can press tab, so mining will continue. I'm not quite sure. So mining will continue when I do what?
When you're manually mining. Just like in the equipment workshop, where you can tell it to just auto craft, you can also auto mine.
Okay,
By hitting tab.
that's why I did.
Oh.
But you don't use tab, you use the spacebar.
Okay.
So I guess that confused me. Generally, it's a spacebar thing.
Okay, Ben's heading out for now.
All right, Ben, thank you for coming for a while. Join us back again if you can. I need to get this copper and iron ore out of my bags. See if I can get this copper ore and iron. Nope. That one's full. And that one's full. Okay. So, oh, that leads to an opportunity.
And the audio is out of sync again today. So we find that the audio goes out of sync when we're having some general connection issues. And we actually haven't had them for a while, but looks like it's happening a bunch today.
Interesting.
Just like we were having connection issues earlier today. So.
And they were weird connection issues.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish I had a splitter. I mean, at this point, I think I'm just going to take down this section of both iron ore and copper ore. The containers are full. So I could literally disconnect these and connect them up to a different manufacturer making something else.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I can make wire, copper ingots. Boy, this is a pretty limited list of things I can do right now. Screw goes from rods to screws. See, I can produce ingots faster than I can make anything with them.
So Whitestone has a question. It says there's some promising looking factory games coming out this year, like Spacecraft and Star Rupture. Any plans on playing other factory games?
Spacecraft and Star Rupture. Interesting. We've thought of doing Space Engineer. I tried playing Factorio and didn't really take to it well. So, wasn't gonna play that one again. But, yes, I've considered playing other things. I've also ordered Hot Wheels Unleashed. How about that for a not factory game? So
Do you have that installed on the current computer?
on this current, no, not on this one. We just downloaded it. I just downloaded it. So
Oh, you should get it installed on this computer. Because, you know,
yeah, because this is where I have my steering wheel.
yeah, we should get that installed. It, Doc's been kind of a bit resistant to it, but I think Doc should jump from game to game during streams when he's, you know, getting a little bored. A couple hours of Satisfactory, and jumping into Hot Wheels and playing, which I think is hilarious.
And we got a vote for space engineers here by Whitestone.
Yeah, Space Engineers has kind of been on the top of the list for a long time, so.
Iron node over there.
Interesting. So both Archon and Trumpkin refreshed their pages and said that it came back in sync for them.
Okay. They refreshed their pages. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Solar, we are not going to be doing 8-hour streams this week. I said Doc would want to because he's been out of it, but I doubt that Mama Doc will let us.
Yeah. Things are getting a little bit urgent on the get the house built so the kids can, so that my daughter can move up here front. So, yeah, things are getting a little bit urgent there. So, unfortunately, that takes up some of my time. But I think what I'm going to do to counter that is I'm going to start.
Hiding and locking the door.
No, I'm going to start.
Oh. I mean,
Gosh, you just totally threw me off. Totally threw me off.
sorry.
So, gosh, totally. I'm just totally without words.
I think my idea was just superior. It obviously just wiped everything else out.
I plan on playing more at night,
Oh.
in the evening. So, if I'm going to have to devote more daytime, I'm going to just devote less television time at night.
Trumpkin says, "Hey Doc, would you mind adding the space elevator to the to-do list? Then you can see the ingredients you need for it. You keep track of it."
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the to-do list. You know, when you have the oh gosh, the dimensional depots, you just keep building willy-nilly, and you forget how all the tools that you used to use in order to keep things going. You know.
Yep.
So, okay. So we go here, and we go to the up here, and we go there, and we go plus. Right. Thank you. Yes. I forgot about that. Totally forgot about that.
And Solar Flare says, "Get Mama Doc a PC and let her join."
Yep. Well, that's not a bad idea. It just hasn't. I've got a new PC. Notice where Mom's new PC is sitting?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to get to it. Okay. Okay, we got concrete being made over here.
And we got a Ludwig over on
Okay.
YouTube who says, "Hey Doc, I want to thank you for all the great videos you made for Satisfactory Beginners. Great job, man."
Appreciate the compliment there. Because I was a beginner, and I needed it. So I made them. And I continue to make them because it helps me solidify in my mind the, the things that I need in order to, accomplish, um, everything I need to do. So, um, thank you again for the to-do list suggestion. Yeah, it's making it a lot easier to stay on focus and on track. Okay, more iron rod. Okay, using it up, isn't it?
And Bollicrum says, get yourself a new PC and give the old one to Mamada.
Um, that is a more expensive option. Unfortunately, it's a more expensive option than buying her just a brand new PC. And so we did. Because you buy me a brand new PC and it means a high-end video card, high-end memory, high-end motherboard, the works. You buy Mamadaka PC and it needs to run Word and Excel and PowerPoint and Publisher and, things like that. The use case is so totally different between her computer and my computer that buying her a computer was an affordable option versus, we only have 219. Need to get more ingots. Versus the alternative. So,
Yeah, getting her a computer that can run a pair of larger monitors and can run all of her apps really well is really a good spot. Lots of storage because she likes installing lots of games. There's stuff to do, but spending the extra $300-400 to get a nicer video card is just throwing money away. So, and Volcom says I could put a top tier Office PC that can game for about $1,000, and that's really about the price we paid for the computer we just built for her. It was around $1,000.
It was in the 900s.
Yeah. So, actually, no, it was actually a pre-built we bought for her. We custom built the server, but we got a pre-built for her.
That's true.
Just because the individual components, it was just cheaper.
Uh-huh.
And that comes down to, availability of video cards right now and system integrators only having a limited supply.
Hello, Doc. Love your videos. I think this is a great game overall, but I tend to quit when I reach tier 7. Complexity just overwhelms me. Any hints? Complexity gets to be the issue. Now, it's being able to keep it all in your head when you want to do the next thing. And the problem is, if you keep it all in your head, a lot of times it can get real discouraging. In fact, that's a little bit of what's happening with the Gigafactory. Is we've got so much complexity in the Gigafactory and the things that we're wanting to do there that we just made a choice that we would wait until 1.1 came out so we could simplify a lot of the issues, specifically with transportation in the example I used earlier in the video. So, tips, take one chunk at a time. Don't worry about going backwards to fix problems that you created because you didn't quite build it efficiently to begin with. Go ahead and go back and fix those things. Like you don't have enough iron coming in, for example, in order to make enough plates, in order to make enough frames, modular frames, and heavy modular frames. And all of a sudden, at the end game, it's creating a problem because you don't have heavy modular frames that you can use, because you've got other resources pulling from them. Don't worry about going in back at the very beginning to rebuild and build another line of, iron ingots and frames and all of the things going up so that you can supply those complex lines later. A lot of times that means maybe building modular factories in places just to help with the supply in a certain area that you need, like the frames. Modular frames seem to be a really challenging part to my builds. So just don't worry about going backwards and fixing those things that need to be fixed along the way. Found a 3070 Intel 11th gen for $500. We broke to buy it, but but yeah, that's the thing. Is a lot of times these people that are putting together these pre-built machines, like for example, the one that we bought for my wife, it was in the 900 range, but it had a 4070 in it. And frankly, we put a lesser video card in there because she doesn't need that hot, powerful of a video card. We put a lesser video card in there and shoved the 4070 into one of our PCs so that we could, so we had more power there on our video end. So yeah, sometimes those, it's cheaper to buy a component when you buy the whole machine than it is to buy a component separately. And in this case, buying her a PC and plagiarizing the 4070 made sense also. So, what was I going to do here? Was I going to make more rods? Yes, it's iron rods that I needed to make. So my rod production is 280. I've got enough. So I'm going to go ahead and go to iron rods here and make those. And I'll have enough here to put the space elevator together. Okay, 5 gift measurement. Wow. Okay, Stormfire 962 sent 5 gaming with Doc gift measurements, and Brian Solney got one. Adam got one. Sheldon Petrie got one. Pharaoh Sapien got one. Doc Thumper. Okay.
Doc Thumper. Whoa.
Got a gift membership. Thank you. Appreciate your gift memberships there, and I'm sure hopefully the other 5 will find ways to use it. Now, those of you who just got a gift membership can join us on our Minecraft server, can join the members side of the Discord server that we have. So Robert, go ahead and post the Discord link.
Sure.
And kind of give instructions how to connect to all those extra things that you were just given to them.
Yeah, so like Doc said, there are special forms where you can access in our Discord for being a member and for being gifted a membership. So yeah, come on over and join the Discord, as well as we have a members-only Satisfactory server and Minecraft server. So if you want to join those, there's a place specifically for you to sign up. Because the Minecraft server is a whitelist server, you'll need to post your name. It is a Java server. So give us your name and we will we'll let you in. We have backup solar flare. It auto back stuff up. And that's fine. We have people there who have permissions to kick or ban if needed. Shirt brother says, looking snazzy with a striped polo today, Doc.
Thanks.
Shirt brother paying attention to the shirt. I appreciate that.
If you really want to thank me, just pay forward, and that's the best way to thank me. You bet. That is a good way to do it.
So, Doc, did you watch SWAT,
Did I watch SWAT?
the TV show?
You know, the one character on SWAT came over from Criminal Minds.
Right.
And I really, really liked him in Criminal Minds. I found SWAT to be a little on the rough side.
Yeah.
So being a bit on the rough side,
Didn't really
we
get
watched
into it.
2 or 3 episodes of it, and since Mama Doc and I basically, when I watch TV, I'm watching with Mama Doc. We tend to watch things that aren't quite so aggressive, quite so graphic at times.
And Megalith asks, are you talking about Hondo Harrelson?
I think his name is Hondo
Yep.
in there. Okay.
Well,
we're watching the space elevator deploy here, which is always cool to watch when it first deploys. See it come down? It comes down and connects with it. So now you see the satellite up there that kind of controls Ada and keeps us all in line down here. And now you see the space elevator getting all equipped. Way cool. And then, of course, the cloud cover comes over, so you can't see the rest of it. Ah, darn. But we have now created the space elevator. So complete phase 1 is the next objective. And if we run over to the hub, we may be able to actually start tier 1. Look, see if we can. Tier 0 was done. Tier 1 now. So base building, we get foundations. Foundations and walls we get with base building. And so we need to supply these items. And let's see how many of those things we can, let's select that milestone. And yes, we have that many of those. And we need to go get some more plate and concrete, which we have. So let me go ahead and do that.
So Megalith is currently watching SWAT. Saying he reached SWAT episode 5 of season 7 and he's in denial because his favorite character, Hondo, is leaving the show at the end of episode 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like I said, he's the guy that we decided we wanted to watch it for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can understand because he's a good actor for one, and he always seems to play dynamic characters. So, all right.
Oh, your favorite character is Jim Street. I'm sorry, I thought you had been talking about Hondo previously. Okay. So Jim Street's leaving, huh? The main character is Hondo. Gotcha.
Okay.
And Chemical Trail, first time chat over on Twitch, says, "Greetings, Doc. Thanks for all the YouTube videos. Only 150 hours in, they've been a huge plus.
Fantastic. That is way cool. Okay, and pull those over. Go back to the hub, guys. And tier 1 is complete, and we can lift all these ragtag machines up off of the ground.
And Megalith says that Jim Street now has his own show called The Night Agent on Netflix.
Okay. So he's moving up the proverbial ladder, I guess. Getting his own show rather than being a part of somebody else's show. And this is my favorite part. Launching the pod.
Oh, yeah, I watched Night Agent.
Milestone reached. Several new structures are now available for improving factory organization.
was pretty good.
Foundations provide a building grid,
Yeah, I
which
watched
makes
the
it
beginning of
easier to
Night
manage
Agents.
placement of any structure. In the
Isn't
event
that the
that
one
you
where
are
he answers the
experiencing
phone?
amnesia for all
Yes.
events prior to
And
planetfall,
all of a sudden it
be
sends him on an
reassured that
adventure.
memories of beloved humans and or
They
animals
said
would
they
have
released
only
season
been
2 at the beginning of
distractions
this year,
from
and
your
they'll release
important
season 3
mission.
later this year.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Whitestone Industries says, "You want to do a no foundation challenge, Doc?"
No. No, I don't want to
Very
do no
quick answer.
foundation. Okay, so I got a lookout tower. Logistics, I still don't have anything beyond those conveyor belts. Okay, so let's, before I leave here, I need to fill this biomass burner, and I need to get the next milestone.
First time chat from Lucky Army who says, "Night Agent is really good. My girlfriend and I joke about the speed of the main character in the newest season. That cameraman or woman needs a promotion."
They show him running a lot, and the camera keeps up, huh? Cool. Okay. All right, both of those are full for now. And let's go get the next tier here, and let's Oh, good, it's back. Hey, we get splitters in the next one.
Oh, good.
Building efficiency.
Huh?
What is that?
Is that a 1.1 thing?
I don't know. I don't know what that one is.
Well, we get to find out.
Yeah, we will.
Or
So I'm gonna
is that it? Oh, I think that's just Ada insulting you on your building efficiency.
Oh,
That's my guess.
so we just get more and bigger insults, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well I'm gonna go ahead and
Archon says, no, it's what gives you the percent. Percent on what?
okay, I need to go get rods and plates. More rods, more plates. More rods, more plates.
It's the
So-
stat in the machine UI to tell how efficient your machine is. Oh. I guess that doesn't display originally? Huh. I completely forgot about that. Cool.
So if we go to a machine here, interesting, it's something down here. It's not locked. That's not unlocked yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So I need rods. I need to just go make some more rods. I don't have a machine making. I have a machine making rods, but I'm having them go straight into screws. Dum 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 dum. Anyway, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't do things efficiently because you can't. At least at the beginning of this game, it's very difficult to be efficient. But I deliberately built on the edge of this meadow here, so that I could deliberately start putting out foundations in this meadow. I'll also start it pops up in the middle and in the middle between the input and output of the UI. Okay, I'll take a look at that real quick because I'd like to see the difference. You know, we probably have just accepted it for so long, it's just part of the interface, didn't miss it. And with only being able to basically do 1 to 1 to 1, not having splitters, well, that's going to increase our efficiency having splitters. Yeah, I remember when playing 8, was kind of learning about the fact that a miner would output 60 or so. You know, if it's on a normal node, would output 60, and I had a smelter that would only accept 30, you know, and process 30. And of course, that always seemed to be kind of a mismatch. Something that, you know, they didn't fit in really well. And that's when we started creating those shorts on balancing and stuff, because I had to learn that. And so, yeah, this will be interesting. All right, let's get some rods made. Okay.
I have to say, there's so many things in this game that have been just done so well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like the sound of crafting. It's annoying to have to craft that much, but the sound makes it feel good. You know,
Like you're getting something done.
yeah.
All right, we've got rock. All right.
Megalith made one last comment about the character on the SWAT.
On SWAT?
Couldn't come up with the name. Said season 1, Jim Street is a lone wolf and arrogant. But in season 7 Street, he's intelligent and he left the show as a leader, as a sergeant. So real
Okay.
character growth there.
You know, it's nice that they allow a secondary character to show that kind of growth.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows, you know, obviously he wasn't the director in the show wasn't worried about. I'm one short. I'm going. Why isn't my button showing up? Okay, fine. I'll run back down there again.
Well, that's one thing that, like, when I go back and I watch, like, Star Trek, for an example, both the original series and Next Generation, that was still fairly early television, fairly early serialized television, where people didn't really progress much. They just were who they were. And so while they were great, they were really fun stories, you didn't get much past that, you know, other than here's a bunch of fun adventures. And another one, Stargate SG-1. I love Stargate, especially SG-1, but the characters don't really progress all that much. There's just the tiniest amount of progression from season to season. And some of them just don't at all. And now that, you know, modern day has happened, you know, we went to the kind of the J.J. Abrams period where it was like, oh, we're just going to throw drama, make things change so much with the gigantic shows with 20 star characters. And it feels like a lot of shows are kind of settling back into just telling good stories. And I like that. Megalith says the current season, season 8, people are just calling it the Hondo show. Shows that are kind of in their last couple seasons and aren't putting while they're ahead tend to do that. They kind of lose their depth. And which one is Alex Russell? Alex Russell is the guy who played Hondo. No, Shamar. So who's Alex Russell? Oh, Jim Street. Okay. So Alex Russell, the guy who played Jim Street, is also a director. So he actually directed 4 episodes of SWAT.
Okay.
That's cool.
So he starts getting some director experience.
Yep. So Solar Flare asks, when are we going to do the showcase?
Generally, we do it in the last half hour of the stream, right?
Yep, so in about an hour. Because we're going to 1 o'clock Central US.
All right.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to save
And
space
this
and
animation
enhance
is
the
Michael's
productivity
favorite.
of your factory.
The space elevator
Fixit
is cool, but
encourages
this
you to consider
I really
investing
like
in verticality when it comes to factory logistics. If you feel stressed by
Verticality,
this
she calls it.
complexity, imagine yourself on the shore of a
We
vast
have a
and calm
first-time
ocean.
chat.
Breathe in. Visualize all the people relying
Makes me
on
wanna
you.
start-
The
restart
sea
my
is made
playthrough
of
again,
billions of
really holding
faces,
back.
each staring at you
At
with
least
hope and
version
tears in their
1.1 to be
eyes.
fully released.
Breathe out. Feel refreshed and focused on your duties.
Okay. Hearing Ada again. I mean, Ada goes silent in the end game, pretty much. That's really too bad. She's kind of entertaining. But now we have splitters, folks.
Woohoo!
Which means that I can go ahead and split, in particular, this line right here. Conveyor lift, conveyor merger, conveyor splitter. Yes. And even though these are incredibly slow-moving belts, it's still put a splitter on it. Still. Or should I start rebuilding everything on platforms? That's the question.
Hey, Megalith, I've seen that. I wanna try it. Maybe sometime when we're not on stream, if you know how to set that up, that'd be something we could do. We'd have to figure out how to make it playable so Doc can hear it as well as being on stream. So cool. I appreciate that, Megalith. He says that Ada's voice is available in Google's text-to-speech API,
Really?
so we can have people, donate money or redeem points to send a message to you in Ada's voice.
That would be cool. That'd be kind of fun, yeah. All right, we want to put a constructor right here. As soon as I get a constructor making... Oh, doggone it. Okay, fine. I'm going to go ahead and put a smelter here. Missing iron rod. All right. And I'll bet you that I'm going to need a ton of iron plate and a ton of concrete. Grader re-entered. Okay, so Grader's back. Good.
Oh, Whitestone reminds me to go take a look at the machines. You can see the difference. See those panels open up.
Let's go check. Right now it's only on a constructor, or maybe even a miner. Okay, this part of it?
Oh, just that center panel. Okay.
Yeah, instead of just having this up here, you can now see this part that tells how much it's actually making.
Or is it just a per minute readout?
It's using 4 megawatts. It takes 4 seconds to do each one, but it's only 2% efficient because it can be fed a whole lot more than it can make. But now with splitters and mergers, we can make that a whole lot more efficient. Which basically means that I need to start building a platform here, folks.
We've had a couple comments about audio being a bit low, so I went ahead and tweaked it a bit. Let me know, guys, if that worked out for you, if it sounds about right.
Okay, got regular foundations and ramps.
Yeah.
So, that works. I'm gonna put a big one. I want to put a big one up here to set my level. Those doggone telemarketers.
Mr. Havoc is much better. Good. Glad to hear. Yeah, for some reason, somehow, those things change all the time. I don't know why or how.
Okay, build that on the world grid. And let's start...
Digital Goblin, says Archon. Yeah. I believe it.
it's going to be a situation where pretty soon I'm going to end up with not being able to build, have to go refill. I don't have dimensional depots.
And you're gonna build a platform that feels absolutely gigantic, and then a tier 2, you're like, why did I build bigger? Whitestone says, happens with his OBS randomly. Lose the mic filters. We'll change the mic back to default settings. So now he's in the habit of checking it before each recording. Yeah, and that's what we failed to do when we recorded all of our shorts the other day. So we're gonna have to redo that.
We did such a good job on those, done it.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm getting the Pass It On episode recorded. So you guys can see what happened
Edited.
with the silly Pass It On thing. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Yeah, that was such a good stream starting too.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it was an incredible stream to begin with.
Yeah, that's a good energy going, good conversation.
Yep.
I guess it was just too good. They had to summon a storm to stop us.
You could say something like that, maybe?
No, Megalith. Why? Ultra Fox says we can even go even louder. That's so weird. I wonder if the cats hit something. I'll look at my general audio mixer here. Yeah, Doc, we are peaking at a little over -20.
Okay. Isn't that about right?
Technically, for production, yes, but for YouTube and Twitch, they typically want louder.
Okay.
So, yeah, Chemical Trail says we have 100% volume on us, and on their PC, and another tab, a YouTube videos at 20% volume, and it's still louder.
Okay, so do I need to turn mine up? Well, not on my
No.
recording.
No, it's all on
It's
me.
on you.
So.
Okay.
Guys, I'm raising the volume quite a bit here, so if you guys have it too loud, make sure you tone it back down.
Let us know too. Okie dokie. Stocking up on more plates.
Yeah, so Mr. Havoc, I've unfortunately had to. I hate to say it, but I've actually subscribed to YouTube Premium. I did it because I didn't have internet at my house for quite a while, and so I use it to download videos to watch when I'm not here. But that's the only way I've been ad-free. Unfortunately, they've what seems like at least temporarily beaten the ad blockers. I've used uBlock Origin. It keeps on breaking, which is strange. Interesting. See, I've seen that too, because there for a while I was getting uBlock Origin to work, but my brother's uBlock Origin wasn't. So I don't know why the inconsistency. It's weird.
I don't know what I have on my Brave browser, but the Brave browser seems to still function.
It's just built
Well.
into Brave. Yeah, no add-ons needed. So Megalith has now tried all the AI female models with Google text-to-speech, and he's not getting Ada. That is odd. And Archon says that uBlock Origin's working for them, so...
Okay.
And Stormfire is recommending you try Stationeers as well.
Stationeers. Huh?
Yep. That's one on our list.
Okay.
Doc uses Brave for the most part in Chrome when he has to. I use Chrome and Brave both, but Brave is just another Chromium browser.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Brave has a built-in ad block.
That seems to have been working fairly consistently.
Yeah.
Although some companies have somehow coded their HTML to just not function if there's an ad block. And there are times with Brave that I've just got to go to Chrome in order to get the website to function. So, in fact, there was a period of time where the university that I was teaching with, one of their applications that we needed to use, just one of the sub applications, would not open if it was pointed to Brave. But the problem is, you had to be in a browser to click on the link to go to this application. And if your default browser was Brave, it meant that it all of a sudden it kept trying to go to Brave and wouldn't function. So I literally had to switch everything over to Chrome for the university, so that I could use this one little application that I had to use once, actually twice per class. So I had to use it in week 1 and week 2 to mark attendance. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Finally, they fixed it. But gosh, this whole idea of, they ought to just, charge up front rather than, you want the added features, just, pay a monthly fee or something instead of having to be forced to watch ads if you want. But anyway. Okay, so I have a foundation. And now I can actually look at the data regarding how much these consume. Biomass burners consume 10 per minute biomass. The constructor can make 300 per minute biomass. So I can, good heavens, 30? I can support 30 biomass burners on one constructor making biomass. I guess that's what you call efficiency, Robert.
Yep. So, Megalith, I have 128 gigs of RAM, and I'm on a 4070 Ti. Oh, okay, Mr. Havoc says, gotta head back into work. Have a great
Alrighty.
build, Doc. Peace.
You bet. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, we've actually had a pretty darn good stream today. Good number of people here. Great conversations. It's great having all you guys here hanging out.
Yes. Oh, Megalith's talking a lot.
Yep. Yeah, he's looking to. He was trying to find Ada's voice, not be able to find it, so he's might gonna try rebuilding it from the voice lines, but I don't know. I think a few more minutes digging around to find the model. Okay, you are still searching it, right? Good. Seems weird because yeah, I have seen it on other streams and I've been interested in it, but it was just one of those. Gotta have the time.
Which also means Robert has to have the inclination to not play his games and take time to do other things for the channel, which sometimes is a challenge.
Well, look. I get time off, okay?
No.
Yes.
Since when?
Oh. Actually, truth be told, when I first came down here at the end of the summer, finally moved here, the ramp up to Satisfactory's release was so good. Things were going so well. We were producing so many videos, and I didn't want to take a break. I was just having too much fun making videos and whatever, and streaming and all that. And there came a time when Doc said, "Hey, look, you need to start taking Sundays off." And I finally got to the point where I shifted my workload as much as I could to take Sundays off. Yeah, it's actually getting a day off every week. Yeah,
Yep.
Whitestone says YouTube is a full-time job, especially when you're doing everything yourself. Yes, sir. Arcot
Yep.
says, is that not why people need to employ family? Oh, we're working with impunity? Yep. Look, when I was a teenager, um, first off, when I was very young, Doc started two computer companies. One was an educational institution that would train people, and we ended up having like a whole bank of computers in our basement, like what, about a dozen of them or so. And he would teach classes to people of how to use a computer, and those were in the early days of personal computers, and so they would be taught how to turn things on. The CD tray is not for resting your mug, you know, very very basics of computer use.
Yep.
And then later on, we started a company selling computers, me and Doc together. That one didn't do super well, unfortunately. That was very early days of the internet. We tried selling online, and unfortunately, big companies like Amazon like gobbled up the scene pretty quickly. But fast forward a few years, and then I started a bookstore, and Doc was my technical assistant that entire time. So he helped build the database backend, and so basically, my entire life, my dad and I have worked together. Whatever project it is, we get things done together. So it's been a whole lot of fun. I've always loved it, and now I think this is certainly the most successful we've ever been in ventures together. Probably not in gross dollars. I think the bookstore is still higher in gross dollars, but
Yeah, I think the bookstore, of course, the bookstore in gross dollars was a lot bigger. Okay, that's what I was trying to power up. That needed to power up.
so Stormfire says, and we couldn't tell from your name hashtag I am a Star Citizen. He says, by the way, there's another game to try, and I support it. It's called Star Citizen.
Okay.
In 9 days and 23 hours, the game will be available for free to try, and it's the Invictus launch week.
The event is the Invictus Launch Week.
So Star Citizen is the one that started on Kickstarter that's raised
Really?
tens of millions.
Okay.
And the company's called Robert Space Industries. And I've wanted to play it forever,
Okay.
but it's a game where you have to purchase using real money the ship you want to play with in game. But if it's free to try for a week or for some time, that might be
Well, how
fun
can
to
it be
play.
free if you got to buy the?
They give you a loaner ship? I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe Stormfire could answer that question.
All right, we have rods being made finally. Okay. And with rods being made, I should be able to start getting them out of here instead of running back constantly and making them. We have screws being made. Okay. What? I didn't check the. I didn't check for the next phase, the next tier. Oops.
1234 is in chat and says hi.
Hi.
Good to see you here.
Yep. So, Robert, can you make a note
Sure.
I mean, you've talked about Star Citizen ever since it.
Yeah.
I mean, and how much does the real?
The full game itself, it's one of those you could pay a whole lot, you could pay next to nothing.
Okay.
Let me just look it up real quick. Although I know that Oscar will be very sad if we try to play Star Citizen before we play, oh gosh, what's it called? Eve.
Okay, Robert. Field
What?
research.
Nice.
I get the MAM. I get the map.
That's
I
nice.
get the object scanner and inventory slot.
Hot dog.
Inventory. I can carry more stuff. All right, and I can fill that right now, and I can fill part of that and part of that. So I need to go get some more screws and more wire. Screws, I need 300. Wire, I need 300. So now, one thing I can also do.
Okay, here's the Invictus Launch Week event. Let's take a look at it. Well, interesting. Can I show you my screen here?
Oh, please do.
Okay.
Is it going to be on stream?
Okay, yes, it will be. First, real quick. Stormfire says Star Citizen Invictus Week means you can play and download free for a period of time without paying. The game package lowest price I think is $45. So, oh, we're getting no video for my screen. Yay! Let's see if I can fix that real quick. If not, we'll have to fix it between. Add stocks video. Interesting. Why are we getting no video from me at all? Double checking that. No. Well then. That's interesting. Why are we getting nothing from that? Oh. I know why. Huh. I don't think that's a quick fix. Well, Doc, unfortunately, not about to see my stream today.
Okay.
I had to swap around a cable because I told you one of my monitors wasn't working.
Yeah.
When we came back from the power outage, and because I swapped that cable, I didn't swap it entirely properly. Didn't even think about it before. So. Okay. Well, guess what, guys? We're not gonna be able to show you the preview of the Star Citizen stuff. So that's fine. I'll show them off stream, and it is it starts at basically it looks like at 11 a.m. our time in 10 days. So that might be a fun stream activity for a day.
Okay.
That'll be on the 15th. So that will be next Thursday.
Okay.
So yeah, we might do that. That could be fun. Yeah, there's a couple people I watch on Twitch every once in a while who play Star Citizen, and it's a slower paced game for the most part,
Okay.
and so I never catch any super exciting action. But that's kind of like watching Satisfactory, live stream Satisfactory. It can be pretty laid back. So
Okay.
I think it'd be a whole lot of fun. You also at one point you want to have a pilot's license and that kind of thing, and so it has a lot of that very in-depth feel of, okay, now I'm going to fly this spaceship, and you have to go through the procedure of undocking and taxiing and taking off. All that.
Okay.
They've gone for very deep simulation, which is
Okay. More of the realistic side of the simulation rather than just get up and fly.
yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Could you check the temperature in here and see if
It's a wee bit chilly, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
Well, how about I set it to heat instead of cool?
Yeah. Probably about time to do that.
There we go. It's on heat. It'll warm us up.
Okay. I'm gonna go also get up and just turn on the light so we can get the fans taking the heat off the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Good call. So our studio progression has taken we're another step closer. All the walls are painted. We haven't done all the trim work yet, but all the walls are painted, and we got 2 of the lights up. These are not the studio lights, but they're the big fans in the ceiling. So we are one step closer to getting a studio tour for you guys. And once I get my 3D printer fired back up to print new versions of these ceiling mounts that I made some that weren't quite flexible enough for our application. So I'm gonna give them a little more flex. And we'll get our ceiling lights mounted up and have better lighting, and yeah. And hopefully we can get our couch over here, get the foosball table set up again. I haven't played a good game of foosball in too long, Doc.
Well, how about air hockey too?
Yeah, we could do air hockey too. I was actually thinking air hockey when I said foosball, but yeah, we're gonna set the
Okay.
air hockey first, and if there's room, foosball.
All right. So I think first thing we create is a biomass burner, factory, because we got a lot of biomass just being made without adequate facilities to burn it all. And I just created a rod factory so that I could get the rods. I'm going to go ahead and put my ears back in so I can hear the game. Okay, I got 137 rods have been built at this point. Okay, so where are my overclocking thingies?
And White Sun Industry says studio tour.
Yep.
It will happen.
All right, let's build some biomass burners, folks. Okay. Okay, missing wire. I should have picked up some wire. It's here. And for now, we need to build some ramps going downward. That's where to put it. Okay.
And Chris Aladdin over on Twitch says hi.
Hi. Glad to have you with us. I started this morning on a new build in a new area in the northern forest, and I just unlocked here. What was it? I'm working on unlocking tier 1 stuff, right, Phil? Okay, need more rods for that one, so let's hook these up. Gotta have a pole that actually has something available on it. Oh, these Mark 1 power poles are going to be the death of me.
Chris Aladdin says nice.
So yeah, this whole build right now is brand new since this morning. So
Whitestone says, I'm not a fan of those foundations at the start. I try to get concrete ones unlocked as soon as possible so I don't have to use my iron plates. That's actually a good.
that's an interesting thought.
Yeah. You just can put a nice little manifold to feed all these.
I am.
Cool, cool. Chris Aladdin, oh, apparently he was here for the Pass It On. He says, what happened?
Yeah, you saw us go dark. What happens? We had a tornado warning, and turns out that we had a very severe straight line wind storm come through, and it just took us out.
And it took us out for 3.5 days.
Yeah.
The power company had to replace over 200 poles. Yeah, it went dark literally, Whitestone says, yes. They had to replace over 200 poles, as well as some of the larger station has had quite a few bits of damage. And as people have repeatedly said in our Discord, they should have been using Mark III power poles instead of Mark I. Maybe they would have withstood it. Yeah, we didn't come back until Friday afternoon. And it was kind of funny because we had our generator running, and so we had some lights in here already. We'd been working all day, and it was middle afternoon, so all the windows were open, so it was nice and bright. And it was almost confusing when the lights came back on because it's like, wait, why is that light on? Oh, wait, we have power finally.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we spent the next hour and a half disconnecting everything and putting everything back the right way.
Disconnecting it from the generators that we had running to keep things
Right.
quasi going. All right, gotta go get some more cable. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a short break there, Robert. I'll be right back. Okay?
Okay. Half my brain is editing the past event, the other half is listening to Doc, so kind of missed it there for a second. Yeah, the whole, why is it so bright in here? You know, the luxury of having windows is something I've kind of learned living in a old stone house. The house that me and Garrett share, on the eastern wall, the whole side of the house has windows. They're all small windows, but the whole eastern wall is windows. But there's none on the western wall. and none on the north. Well, the north and south are peaked, and there's these tiny little windows at the very top. But that means that our bathroom has no windows. It means that our kitchen has the most light, but then somebody about 50 years ago built a big porch. So all the light off of our eastern windows is not direct sunlight, it's all shadowed by a porch. So yeah, our house is very, very dark. Even in the middle of the day, we were using a flashlight inside the house all day long, for all week. So Chris Ladd says, "Oh dear, it interrupted gaming time. Ban that weather event." Yes, sir. Ban the weather. Do it. No, it caused a lot of disruptions. So our power company was actually doing a good job of keeping us updated, telling how many power poles they had left, and had to replace all 200. And every single day they wrote like 3 different posts about it, as well as a real time updater. But I had to do an incredible amount of work to fix things. One of the biggest issues here is we live in mountainous terrain, okay, which means it's a lot of rock. In fact, there's old mines all over the place, but there's not a whole lot of soil, so the water table is very, very high. And in these big storm events, what ends up happening is it soaks the ground, and so you have a lot of very big trees that just come up, root ball and all, because it's so soaked that it's not holding on to the soil anymore, and then any amount of wind just knocks the whole thing over, rips the entire root ball out of the ground. A lot of those happened around here. We got pretty lucky. We did notice coming back to our property that we have a really big tree that's half fallen. So we're probably gonna have to go out there and help it get all the rest of the way down. But it's falling in the middle of our forest. We just need to make sure it falls into our forest instead of out into the neighbor's property. So BC, I don't recognize your name, but good to see you here. Says Eve is crazy. I played it for years. Got to the point that I was working for 40 hours, then playing for 40 hours. The change to be attacked at any time by pirates is huge. If you lose your ship, you lose it. Yeah, I played Eve for a while, but I played Eve after I quit playing World of Warcraft, and in WoW I was very, very social. It was all about being in a big guild, all about the raiding time and everything. But when I got to Eve, I kind of wanted to. I liked being in an MMO, but I wanted to play solo, and so I was just a solo miner forever. I was always in high sec, never got out of it, even though I played it for several months. But Archon asks, "Are you in a PUD or private?" I'm guessing it's a public utility district. It's technically private, I think. I think it's private. It's not a co-op. We used to have a co-op when we were in near St. Louis, but I think it's just a private district. But they did a pretty good job getting things back together. Chris Aladdin says the UK here is the last time we had that type of thing. It was back in 1987, the Great Storm of '87. It got called. Yeah, it. In fact, when we were in St. Louis, there was a big thing about the storm of 1994 because it was flooded so badly it overflowed the Missouri and got into all the farmland and flooded all the farms. It was a big deal. Everybody was always afraid of that happening again. So, luckily, when we were in the St. Louis area, we lived on top of a hill, and so there was no issue. Here, it's just flat. It's really flat around here, but you know, our biggest advantage, especially when it comes to any high winds, is we do have forests surrounding us. It's not a ton, but it helps with the wind breaks. It helps a lot diverting the storm around us, but doesn't prevent power outages, unfortunately. Stormfire asks, "Do you guys have a Discord?" Yes, we do. We actually do. Let's see if I still have it in my clipboard. There we go. There's a link to our Discord. If you like Stormfire, would like to join us on our Discord, it'd be a whole lot of fun to have you there. Archon says, "Interesting. Then again, don't think public utility districts are a very common method for that stuff. Living in a corp for that was just so jarring after being in a PUD." Yeah, they're run a bit different. To be honest, I love utilities as co-ops. I think that's the best use case for them. It gets them outside of the government hands where you can kind of play with, well, we need to give them more funding. No, we don't have enough funding, and that kind of stuff. All the local government stuff kind of goes away when it's in a co-op, as well as, of course, all the big business problems of them just ignoring you because they have monopoly. So, and JP Uribe says, "Yo, how are you, man?" Well, I'm doing pretty good. Um, I'm just here holding down the fort while Doc uh, is AFK for a few minutes. I'm Robert, the editor. If nobody knows who I am here for just about every single stream. It's a bit weird, and I'm hearing a truck arrive. Cool. Whitestone says the audio keeps going out of sync. Refreshing the page fixes it. So weird. Yeah, yeah. I looked at the down detector to see if there was a whole lot of issues, and it seemed like there were a lot of spikes going on. Don't know what the issue is, but who knows until somebody says there's a big deal. Solar flare. You are here for every stream and storm. Yeah, yeah. Archon says, so expensive. I paid more for power in an apartment than my mom did in a house. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The cost of power disparity is so weird. It's so weird. We did, back when we were in Arkansas, install a small windmill and power inverter and everything else. It never really worked. And unfortunately, we then immediately had a storm, and we hadn't built up a way to pull it down for the storm very easily. And so it got knocked down and hasn't back up. We got to work on it, figure out how to make it function.
I'm back.
Welcome back. We were looking, when looking to buy a property back here in Missouri, we were kind of looking. It would be nice to have a river and put a little dam in there. Wouldn't it be cool to put up our own little tiny hydroelectric power? That'd be great. But
All right. Well, let's see what we got here. We've got several of these that are hooked up, but they're not hooked up quite yet.
we have a first-time chat from Beanie Jam. Says, "Yo."
So missing cable. That's why. Okay. From Beanie Jam. Yo. Okay.
Chris Alden is from the UK.
I love the creative names. I really do.
So Chris Alden says, we were talking about the storm again.
Uh-huh.
He says, my crazy dad went into work at 4 a.m. mid-storm, as me and my mom were sleeping. He worked as a baker. He phones mom to let her know he got to work okay, and she asked, why'd you call to tell him that? She and me had slept and completely missed it.
Wow. She slept through the storm. That's cool. I mean, that actually is cool. I mean, sometimes sleeping through things is a lot less worrying.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I am so much more comfortable sleeping through storms here than I was back in Cabot. When we were down in Arkansas, we were living out in the country in just a regular house made of sticks. And for some reason, I was paranoid about getting hit by a tornado, especially after Garrett's neighbor got hit by a tornado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But here, I'm not worried about it. It's like, yeah, I live in a stone house that's been standing for 100 years in the middle of a forest.
Uh-huh.
If we
Different perspective.
yeah, just not a worry. Archon says, that's what's nice. County I live in, grew up in, has a lease on 2 dams. Super cheap, few pennies per kilowatt. Why we have the factories and the server farms.
Okay.
Cool. Beanie Jam says, "Man, no offense, but U.S. houses are scary, fragile. I wouldn't be able to sleep comfortably in a strong storm."
Yeah, I mean, you've got, if you're in the Europe area, and I assume you are, um, yeah, we build on the plains. There just isn't the stone,
Yeah.
isn't the rock, isn't the brick. Um, Although it used to be that
We used to do
when
a
my
lot of
mom grew up in Wichita, Kansas, her love was brick houses because all the houses around were just always brick. It became a later thing that they started building houses out of lumber because it was a lot cheaper than brick. But the problem is, when people wanted brick, they ended up getting these brick facades
Oh,
as cladding on frame houses. So
so
it
dumb.
it didn't make sense after a while you know, to to want a brick house but not really get a brick house.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, cinder block houses were a big thing in Florida when I was on my mission in the 70s, 1970s. Not 1870s or 1670s, 1970s.
Okay. We believe you.
Okay. Um,
1970s is still a long time ago.
yes, it is. But I felt the need to clarify just in case.
Just in case.
Um, so anyway, so the, you know, all those houses were built much more stout. And you're absolutely right. New houses now are built out of, a house out of sticks, there's a reason why they tell the story of the three little pigs. So, and reason, of course, is the fact that, when you build your house out of straw or sticks, it doesn't stand. I guess I'm not understanding why maybe the biomass burners just don't have any fuel. That's why they're still red. But anyway,
So Megalith was able to clone his voice, gave it a 15-second clip, and says it did pretty darn good. Or didn't say it did good. I guess I'll have to ask Megalith, how good is the clone? Because I cloned Doc's voice with 11 labs when it first became a big deal, and it was pretty terrible. I couldn't get Doc's voice range. I think part of the issue, Doc, is that you use very different tonal qualities depending on what you're doing.
voice
Like,
inflections, yes.
well, yeah, like when you're giving a tutorial, that's very different than when you're teaching. And when you're teaching, it's very different than in casual conversation.
Yep.
So. And Ben, no, Garrett isn't here. Garrett will join us on Wednesday when we are playing Minecraft.
Garrett is AWOL today.
Yeah. No, he is not AWOL. He has leave.
Sounds more efficient if I just say he's AWOL. AWOL.
Yeah. Megalith says it's about 7.5 out of 10. Okay.
Okay.
And James Barrier asked, how many hours do you have in Satisfactory?
Oh, total? Lots. Yeah, that's about all I can say is a lot because we have, gosh, how many? 700 plus in the Gigafactory
We
one.
just hit 800 on the Gigafactory.
We just hit 800 on the Gigafactory.
Yep.
How many did we finally end up with our release 8 playthrough? Do you remember?
Sorry, I was editing. Say again. Do I remember what?
How many in our release 8 playthrough?
300.
Okay.
So you're at 1150?
Okay.
Yeah. And Whitestone says that Suno is very good at making high quality AI music, like scary good at it. Mm-hmm. It still hallucinates a ton. And I say hallucinates, but that's not quite the right term. Like it will do all the right verses that it says it's going to do. And then for some reason it'll just continue on and then write an entirely new second song in a faux language that isn't quite English and weird, right?
Wow. Okay.
It's got some weird issues. When it hits, it's great, but it's got some weirdness to it too.
I just did something stupid.
Yeah, Megalith, you definitely cannot edit it. Suno is it's one of those tools that's like you get what you get and you take it. And Stormfire has 1,200 hours. James is 80 hours in.
Okay.
I haven't used it for about a month, maybe 2. I used it to make the intro music for Garrett's stream, and it turned out really good. Whitestone Interesting says the newest V4 model is really good. Huh. Okay. Yeah, it looks like their V4 and 4.5 are both paid models. So
Are both what models?
You have to pay for them. You get some free credits for some older stuff.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be using this enough to really matter. We tried there for a short time using some AI generated music for the channel, but we never were able to make it quite good enough to use. Oh, Megalith has a pro subscription for Suno. Cool.
Well, from what I understand, Megalith, you're more into, writing music and creating art.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes a whole lot more sense. Okay. Now let's do this right. I need a constructor here. I need it to output to there, and I need it to have plenty of room in there for splitters. And this one, if I'm funding it with leaf biomass with leaf material, I can do 6 of these, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I can't do the entire string, so that's fine. I'll have a different one for servicing the rest. And this isn't isn't the best. But it's good enough. There we go. Okay, so where's my hover pack when I need it?
I think that first one's rotated incorrectly.
Yep, it is.
And Whitestone uses ChatGPT to write the song and then puts the lyrics into Suno. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. In fact, Megalith did a pretty good job of kind of giving me a rundown of good prompting techniques for Suno to tell it what movements to do and at what times. And that seemed to help quite a bit with the hallucinating stuff. But Megalith, it's okay. Not all of us go all the way into the APIs and stuff like that.
Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more. Okay. There we go. It's time for conveyors. It's time for a container.
Well, I haven't ever tried flawed, but I should give it a shot. Megalith.
Okay, need more rods.
A Beanie Jam asks, are you an industrial engineer by any chance?
Nope, my dad was. And my grandparents were before him. I ended up being more of a software engineer than a industrial engineer. So, yes, my whole thing in life was building things, building software packages, communicating with my IT folks. I worked mostly in finance, and I worked on finance systems, building them, collecting requirements from them, and making sure that they did what they were supposed to do. Getting frustrated with managers who wanted to quit before they actually did what they were promised to do, which is a whole nother bunch of stories. So engineering, yes. Me particularly, software engineering. My parents and grandparents, more the industrial side. So I loved going out in the factory, by the way. Especially the 747 factory when I worked in Everett, Washington, where they had their main 747 factory, and they eventually started producing some of the 777 there too. So yes, I love to go out and just walk around the factory, because just the bigness, the hugeness of the factory is just awesome. When they move around parts from cranes that are attached to the roof, and they still have to be above a 747 airplane, you understand how big the building is. I mean, it's just like, it has its own weather inside the building when certain conditions happen. So it's really kind of strange, kind of interesting.
Solar Flare says 747 greater than 777.
Yes, 747 was much bigger than the 777. Although the problem with the 747 was that while it was very large, it had 4 engines to power it, and that the fuel economy was just not a good thing. And then they started creating stretch versions of the 777, which started getting to the point where it had almost the capacity of a 747 passenger-wise, with 2 engines that were certified to fly intercontinental. And so it eventually edged out, Boeing eventually edged out the 777 market, the 747 market by itself, but with a more efficient plane. And then, of course, Airbus came out with their A380, which tried to be even larger. And there was really only one customer for the A380, and that was in the Middle East. It wasn't Saudi. What country was it that bought 90% of the A380s and continued using it as a hub airplane to bring people into their hub and distribute them out from there. So So the 747, the Queen of the Skies at one point, is no longer. Okay. Had the issue of going dark on my monitor again, Robert.
Oh,
First
really?
time since we had tried to fix it before.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay, so I have this. I just have to power it up. And these goofy, little, teeny, obscure power poles are just driving me nuts.
Well, you got about 10 minutes or so to fix it up, and then it's time to do the showcase.
All right.
And I was saying that before Megalith reminded us about the showcase, okay? I promise. But Megalith is in there.
Okay.
And Solar Flare says, who cares about fuel? It's America. We got a lot of it.
As long as you don't. Excuse me.
You still got to pay
No
for it.
politics. No politics. No politics. It's basically as long as you have a government that's willing to let you pump it out of the ground, we've got plenty of energy. So.
So, Lucky Army asks, what prompted you to start a fresh solo world?
Oh, I tell the whole story again.
Sure, it's been a while.
The Gigafactory can grow big, and we're going to intend for it to continue growing bigger. The Gigafactory, though, is a situation where the upcoming upgrade to 1.1 is going to be an extreme benefit. And so with that being so beneficial, I just decided that let's start a new solo thing. We'll eventually convert this save to 1.1, but it'll be we won't even get to the 1.1 features by the time they release it, I'm pretty sure. So with the benefit of 1.1 benefiting the Gigafactory to the point where it's going to simplify a lot of stuff. With the conveyor lifts having the up and down, the conveyor lifts having splitters and mergers that can attach to them going up and down, as well as all of the features that of like the elevators and such, we just couldn't avoid. I just didn't feel I wanted to continue trying to build out the Gigafactory when there's so much to be gained by having trouble talking and building, by waiting. So I just decided, I kind of made an executive decision there just to wait.
Beanie Gems. So wait, so is Boeing falling off kind of like a Kodak type of situation? Yes.
Like it. Oh gosh, no. Well, Boeing has got a competence issue. That's really what's going on with Boeing right now is they fully bought into this DEI stuff. And they hired a lot of people that just were not qualified, but met other conditions based on trying to be more inclusive and equitable, which are all neat things to do, but not when you're an engineering company that's relying on putting people in space. You have to get them back from space.
Wait, we aren't Soviets? Like, come on.
Yeah, we are not. So anyway, it's a situation where Boeing is struggling based on the fact that they let a lot of their good talent leave the company. And a lot of them did just because it was becoming a company they couldn't recognize anymore. And one of them was me.
I think there's a good comparison with Kodak though, because Kodak died because of the digital camera revolution, and Kodak decided not to go digital till it was way too late. And I think Boeing's having a little bit similar problem because they've been, I don't want to say resting on their laurels, because they have been trying to develop the Dreamliner and other planes and stuff. They've kept that up, but so much of the profit right now is satellites and going to space. And they haven't, while they do put stuff into space, they completely lost that to
SpaceX.
SpaceX. Everything. They completely just lost the SpaceX. And there's so much money in that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you had a breaking time, I think it's time to.
Okay, I'm
Frankie Frank is here. He says elevators are gonna be so big. I hope they have a 1x1 footprint. They do. It's 1x1, and it goes up to 200 meters tall. He says, "You know what I want? I want constructors to fit tidy in their 1x2 space. So their limbs don't peek through my walls." Yes, agreed.
agreed.
Okay, well, Doc, it's in the shared. It's in the transfer folder.
Okay.
In Showcase.
I'm just wanting to get some things handled here. Just a sec.
So the cool thing about this, you guys have seen Megalith chatting there on Twitch. Megalith is a solo developer and has been working with us for quite a while, and he built an app custom to put together showcases specifically from Discord. He's done an excellent job, and he's continuing to add more features to it and work on it. Can't speak highly enough of the program he built, and so we're using the first beta version that he's put out of that program. Previously, when I put together a showcase, I'd spend about a half an hour pulling everything together, and with the size of today's showcase, it probably would have been closer to an hour. Using his tools, I would do it in about 10 minutes, and it's just really neat. So, Megalith, if you'd like to, you can drop a link to the repo there in chat. People can see for themselves if they ever want to pull images from a showcase or anything like that. They can do it as well. It is open source, he says. Whitestone says, Megalith is a boss. Yes, he is. There you go. I will copy and paste that over to the YouTube as well. So if anyone wants to see that over on YouTube or Twitch, there is the link.
Alrighty. Well, I need to collect more biomass here, but I've fed biomass into each of these burners manually. The biomass that was built in the other place. Just need to. Maybe there's more. Yeah, there's a lot more stuff over here that I could transfer over. In fact, I probably should, but I can't. Let me just. I'm going to just store everything there. I'm going to transfer all of this.
The Omen in YouTube says, "Good day, Doc.
Hi.
I'd like to say thank you for all your tip videos. We've been trying to get our oil plants running correctly for the past week, and it seems to be working good after watching some tips."
Fantastic. That is really what I like to hear. Okay, and we're gonna take all from there, and I'm gonna put the wood back. And I've got to store the other things. Okay, so I've cleaned things up. The biomass burners are running. They're on the grid, and at least for the ones processing grass. For the ones that'll need to later process wood, I'll be pushing them into the ones with the red sticks down here. So anyway, moving on. So that means I can hit escape here, and I can go and get the
Of course, you're going to connect immediately, and it's not going to have any problems connecting to my computer, right?
Right.
Oh, come on.
How well do you understand this game's fluid physics? I'm always confused. Well, work files and showcase and
5-5. And Lucky Army asks, "Who is this beautiful voice that's reading the chats? Is this Doc's conscience? Conscience?"
sometimes.
My name is Robert. I am Doc's son
And editor.
and editor.
And has been my editor ever since COVID, basically. Because that's when I needed to put my lectures from teaching at Lindenwood University in Missouri. At Lindenwood University. Are you laughing at me because I can't work and talk at the same time?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, okay, swap presenter and slideshow view. Okay.
Solar
Okay.
Flare says, "Doc's name is Richard?"
Doc's name is Richard.
I'll pull you over here. Yeah.
Okay.
We got all sorts of issues with it now. But
Huh, what happened? I didn't move or anything, did I?
no, it's just the sheet behind you is all messed up again.
Well, that happens.
Cats.
Cats didn't do that.
It's always the cats. There's cats here. And the Omen just gifted Doc 5 memberships.
Whoa. That is way cool. Thank you. And so, Flemo received a membership. Bart Gazowski and Matt Tullis and Supreme for Fun and Eekster all received a membership from Omen. So, Omen. So enjoy those and go ahead and post the Discord.
Sure.
And
Solar Flare says, "Doc's name is Richard?" In all caps.
yeah.
It is.
And Lucky Yarmy just subscribed with Prime as well. So way cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so Alexa, Alessandra, she goes by Alexa, started to work on a 1 terabyte fuel plant by starting to make 2,400 compact coal a minute and these 2 tiny factories. There'll be a third somewhere else in the area, but for now, 2,400 should give a fresh start. That's good, a good start. Wow. Okay. And I love how she's labeled these, the compacted coal picture here in 01, 02, and then there'll be an 03 somewhere. That is way cool. I love the dark look here, so you see the glow things. Mm-hmm. Although I think she's going to shoot out the window here pretty soon. If we saw the rest of the picture here. All right, way cool. Way cool. What? That's a bunch of batteries powered by Duracell.
Just in case.
25,000 megawatts just in case. That's pretty cool. That looks really, really cool. Just stack them up, and it's at the edge of the world here with the waterfalls and everything over there. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's Redstone Ninja for you. Okay, so we've got what is going on here in his base so far? Okay, it looks like some things that just aren't hooked up yet. We got these refineries up here, or are they? Not quite sure what.
I think those are just constructors, right?
Possibly.
He just put all of his logistics below ground instead of all on the same floor.
Very good. A good way to do it. Keep it all nice and clean. Scars, and okay. Scars NNZ. Gotcha. Volocrum, 10 gigawatt stackable rocket fuel blueprint.
I know Welcome's gonna have a ton of fun with the photo mode because he already makes really picturesque stuff.
Yes. Yes.
If Smelter's making it, yeah. Okay, thank you, Alexa. You're right.
Yeah. Wow. Rocket fuel. Making rocket fuel? I mean, that looks very industrial.
Yes.
The way they put the framed girders in there,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see this conveyor right here pumping out the stators going forward. That's pretty cool. He chooses well his ways to take the picture. That's pretty cool. Right mouse button to respawn. level 100 hypertube cannon. That's pretty cool. We had that one video where we had a kill doc, and they wanted me to just shoot me up past the into space, where I couldn't breathe anymore, and that was pretty cool. What was cool about it is as it shot up, all the view that you could see as you went higher and higher, you could see the whole world and see the things that I'd built, and that was really really cool. So that's Kazim Nobody. Okay, Kazim Nobody. That's pretty cool. Okay, wow.
Ooh.
That is this Coscot 13 World Train I've been working on.
Oh, that looks
So,
great.
yeah, the train up here and then conveyors on this same sort of support that he has here, as well as hypertubes. Hypertubes going through here. That is really cool. It's wow. So it looks like maybe you blueprinted the circular thing here, and possibly these supports. That's just
Yeah.
that is sweet. I hadn't thought of that.
That just looks massive, though.
Uh-huh.
Like, okay, first off, the new blueprint connectors. I can imagine just having to do each one of those stands and letting them connect.
Mm-hmm.
But man,
Letting them
incredible.
connect to the similar items.
Yeah.
That, and that's gonna the new blueprinter connectors is gonna be a game changer as well. And by the way, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 slugs in this one picture. Go get them! Go get them!
Doc's good as finding those. Polka Collector Colin over on YouTube says, "Hey, this is me."
Cool.
He says they're
Mostly
mostly
two blueprints. Okay, mostly two blueprints. Then you've one for more of a slope. Okay, that is pretty cool. That is really really cool. Pokey Collector, Pokemon, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, and Whitestone doing okay. Sorry, it's like when I try to sing, because I did music for quite a while. When I try to sing, I don't breathe enough. It's not that I'm bored with this. It's I don't breathe enough, and then I start yawning, and that's a reason for the yawns when I don't breathe. So it looks like you made a what do they call this? A wiring connector of some sort.
Automated wiring.
Automated wiring
And then made the
duplicate,
factory look at it.
and then make a factory look out of it. Automated
That looks
wiring
so
is
cool.
fun to build with the new curve mode for pipes.
That's why it looks so
So
good.
these are pipes. That's interesting. That is really, really interesting. And then in the background, you have this industrialized look for your train stations up on top. That is really. What's this huge factory in the background, Whitestone? That is way cool looking.
We're gonna see a lot more images from Whitestone. He's been putting out
He's been
lot of
busy,
cool
huh?
stuff for us.
He's been busy. And Whitestone here, the inside of the Versatile Framework Factory. Okay. Wow.
Again, excellent lighting and style.
Lighting and style and colorization, making the monochrome look even further, letting the red show up over here.
Yeah.
And wow, that is really neat. The way it just makes it appear so neat. inside of the versatile frameworks, and then inside of the small plate factory. Okay. Compact is not Whitestone, but look is everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is neat. I mean, this is a factory you'd like to walk through. You can inspect each machine, make sure it's working properly. That is neat.
So Beanie Jam, the ray tracing is not a mod. However, if you, it's specifically, I think it's only with NVIDIA cards, you can enable global illumination, is what they call it.
Okay. Okay. Shenanigans with the old helmet you can find on the map. You've got a there. Okay.
Looks like a little glitched.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very alien looking. Very alien looking. Okay, and there's his sign, Whitestone Industries again. Finished his motor factory. Wow. All about look and aesthetics. You create some beautiful stuff there, guy. You really, really do. Okay, Megalith. Finally got myself a bit motivated, so started to decorate my buildings, inspired by solar flare. Yeah. So it looks like you've got some either coming in or out. You've got wire coming in or out. So that's pretty cool. And then Raven, okay. And Alexa and her tall building. Interesting. It looks like you alternated how they. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is going straight across. It just looks like it's rising.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. And it goes clear up here and goes over the top of this building here. So this is encapsulating lifts. Suppose there's a lift on each one of these 4 panels. Okay, that's pretty cool. Nope, sorry. I wanted to scroll up to see more of the picture.
Oh.
Using the scroll wheel, went to the next screen. Okay. This is my SAM mine for 1,200 beautiful semis. Okay. Copper stuff and solid biomass building.
So yeah, that's the building that Megalith was inspired by. He kind of went off this to make his build a couple pages ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely see the similar architecture and style. That's pretty cool.
Yes, very cool. Very cool.
I like the use of the 1 meter walls to break up the whole thing and not just smacking painted beams across everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Okay, still learning. Last picture is my pride and joy. A tube that goes from the grass field to the blue crater where he has a few gas generators. Way cool.
I
Yep.
tell you what, it still looks neatly organized, even if it is an early build.
And obviously he's in spite of all, he's already got the dimensional depot unlocked.
Good.
So, and then combining the dimensional depot on top of a container always works nice. That way the dimensional depot always has supply to refill it on an instant notice when you're building somewhere else and using the supplies from it. That's good. Neat. And Cookie Shan is contributing again. Good. Aluminum factory is done. That is cool. And she takes good pictures too.
Mm-hmm.
As well as good art, because got the looks like she put girders below the rails here to make it look like a bit different than the usual style.
Yeah.
Okay, Scars NNZ again. Okay. Oh wow, this is an early build.
Okay, we just lost video.
Yep.
There it is.
That's my video going in and out again.
Crazy. Okay.
So this is a very, very beginning. I haven't even built the space elevator yet. And look at all this that's gone on already. That's way cool. All these biomass burners over here providing enough electricity to actually get something built. Oh, I need to do as good.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where I'm at with my current one. Although I built the space elevator so I could build the space elevator and I haven't built the platform. So I could have opened I could have opened tier one and tier two level stuff without building the space elevator.
Yeah.
I didn't even think to do it. Is the thing. So, oh wow, Prodigy Boy, and no explanation what this is exactly, but it's an awful lot of building with air in the middle, and going
Is
up.
that just a hypertube cannon?
Is that all this is?
That's what it looks like.
Oh my! And at the end, you just die because if
Yeah,
that's
just
pointed straight up,
launches you.
and these are just if these are just cannons, I mean, that would be a fun ride.
Yeah.
Need to post a video of the ride.
You might have to put a flash warning on it. A flashing images warning on it.
Yeah, you would have to. Yeah. Okay. Oh, beautiful color. Redstone Ninja repost of the factory cart Thunderdome because I didn't know if Doc checks the Pioneer cart or only the showcase chat. Pioneer chat or the showcase chat.
Well, it made it in there because we're in the showcase chat.
Yep. So a bunch of power switches. Wow.
But this whole area in the center is just
to
little
play
skating area.
carts.
Yep.
Kind of like a skate park.
Yeah. Except with a pit in the middle.
Yeah, I wonder where that goes. Factory Court Thunderdome. Okay. Okay. We got a whole lot of wire being built here. Inside of the rotor factory. The inside of the rotor factory looks like a rotor. That's pretty cool. Okay. So wire and pipe, I assume, coming down into here to make the rotors. Okay. Yeah, those are steel pipes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, building on the round is excellent.
Yes.
Great way of doing it.
Oh, cool. Another Whitestone Industries, yes. Inside the rod factory again. Okay. Or coming into, okay, refineries and building the rods. Okay, where is this in the world? This is kind of close by where we have, we catch the edge of this kind of landscape when we are at the northern oil fields,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's right in there.
And here's
That is so neat.
what do they call this kind of bridge?
This is no, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, near the Spire Coast is what it's called, Whitestone.
Okay.
So, yeah. Very cool looking building.
Yes, no kidding. I suppose the one thing I'd like to do is take advantage of, like Whitestone has here, is take advantage of these platforms that are here and everywhere, and just build things on them.
I think that's one of the big advantages of the modular style factory is you get to build a lot of cool little things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Hi there, doggo. Big doggo. Okay. Being up close and personal with doggo. That's pretty cool. And a bunch of oil oil power generators in the background. Oh, we got Minecraft now. Okay. Caffeinated's Minecraft build. Now, is this in our common world or is this your world?
This is on the server.
This is on our server. We need to go take a look at this one then.
Yep.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
This is way away. He moved pretty far south for this build.
Okay.
So, and he's been trying to convince me to build down there near him as well. And I'm probably going to.
Okay. Looks like he's put jack-o'-lanterns out here.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Oh dear. Okay, solar flare. That's huge.
Yeah, I think you saw this when it was still only a storage hall in the
Okay.
shopping district.
Okay. And Trumpkin boating around. Started the stone castle in the taiga forest. Okay. Pretty cool. Interesting copper doors just up here in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Out to a balcony or of some sort.
Yeah. And is that a spider or a dog?
That's a dog.
That's a dog?
Laying down.
Okay.
I think it's using the fresh animations to give it an interesting pose.
Yeah. Okay.
Solar Flare says that build took him 3 days.
Wow. Are these barrels here then?
Yep, barrels and then alternating barrels with slabs to get the kind of
Slabs.
stacked look.
Interesting. Kind of like a winery would stack their barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a kitty cat. It's a white and black, a lot like Mittens is a white and black.
Mm-hmm.
And a white with blue eyes. Oh, man. That's cute. Sit and admire for a bit. Those blue eyes are just awesome.
Doc is such a cat person.
That looks like a cat where just waiting to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And a Tigger. Rate my cat. All cats are rated at 100%. And is that it?
That's it, unfortunately.
And so we got a picture of the little red wrecker. Chuck Barris did this. And if you don't know who Chuck Barris was, you're not as old as I am.
Well, thank goodness.
Chuck Barris made the original Batmobile. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Just to give you an idea. And so Barris has passed away a long time ago now.
Oh, yeah.
He was old when he was making these anyway. So that's way cool. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining and being with us and sharing. This has been a great adventure today. Thanks for all the memberships. Thanks for all the gifted memberships. Thanks for the contributions.
And we have about 80 people here today.
80 people? That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Good group
So
of people
between the
here
two,
having fun.
we got
Yep.
31 there, and on YouTube we have 49. So yeah, there's 80 folks on with us right now, and we're just a little bit over 8. I think we were at 806 followers when we started. We're at 818 now. So way cool. Thank you for coming, and we'll be back online again tomorrow morning, and I'll continue my Doc Solo build, and we'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.